Chapter 428. That's why I'm bringing you to the business gathering in a few days. I know, Xiao. But, can't you make that scumbag Feng Shanshan pay the price first? He provoked me today. He said that I ruined you. Mu Qiqi was angry at the thought. Duan Xiao and was punished because Lu Qianqian was born into a rich family and could suppress the Duan family. But now, Feng Shanshan was really worrying. Her IQ and EQ were worrying. In any case, she was popular in school. But what use was that? Since when did you get so close to Feng Shanshan? I have a feeling that we could use Feng Shanshan in the end to send the wrong message to that old man of the Xing family. Xing Xiao did not believe her nonsense. But he would definitely avenge Mu Qiqi. Because that scumbag had upset his Xiao Qi. Feng Shanshan had thought that Mu Qiqi would spread the news of her pregnancy and miscarriage after being disgusted by her for so long. But when she went to school, she found out that Mu Qiqi was not interested in that at all. She was gauging the heart of a gentleman with her own mean measure. She thought of all the things she had gone through before. But in the end, it was Mu Qiqi, her enemy, who treated her the best. She would continue to follow up with the Xing family. She had been monitoring Mu Qiqi for so long, and she did not think that she should give up on the old man's money. But it was entirely up to her to say what she wanted to say to the old man. At the very least, she was quite disgusted by Xing Kai and Gu Xiling at the moment. But from Xing Kai's point of view, it was not easy for him to promise Gu Xiling that he would keep her company. In the end, it was ruined by her and that scumbag of a rich man. Naturally, he was unhappy. Fortunately, the two of them had a tacit understanding last night. Gu Xiling did not get upset because of what happened in the hotel, so he was relieved. Over the last 6 months, Gu Xiling rarely caused trouble. She was dedicated to being his wife and helping him take care of the Xing family. It would be a lie to say that he was not moved. Still, he was a little worried that the child they had been looking forward to for so long did not come. The next morning, Xing Kai entered the dining room with a radiant face. Seeing the old man sipping tea at the head of the table, he said, "Grandfather, Xiling and I saw the girl you often see at Empire Hotel yesterday. It seems that she broke up with her boyfriend, and her character is really bad. Are you sure she's reliable?" Grandpa Xing looked up at Xing Kai and said coldly, "What does it have to do with you? You just take care of your Huang Yao. You don't have to worry about this girl's character. It's fine as long as she is Mu Qiqi's enemy." Xing Kai nodded. "That's true. Go home early and spend more time with Xiling." Wasn't the old man urging them to hurry up and have children? "Yes, Grandpa. Still, you've had that girl keep an eye on Mu Qiqi for so long. Is there any news from Xing Xiao?" As soon as the old man heard the words eighth brother, anger immediately appeared on his face. After all, whether it was Xing Xiao or eighth brother, their names were taboo to the Xing family. Xing Kai didn't dare to ask more questions, so he quietly ate his breakfast. Later, third brother came downstairs, looking a little dazed. "See if there are any suitable girls at the business gathering in 2 days. You're not young anymore, and you're still single. Don't you think it's embarrassing? Not marrying Zhongting?" Third brother asked mockingly. "Why would I have a grandson like you?" Third brother pursed his lips and said nothing. Ever since eighth brother left, the sharp conflict in the family had calmed considerably, mainly because third brother had a strong will to live and was good at smoothing things over. Still, he knew that it was temporary. After the business gathering, the Xing family would probably blow up again. After Feng Shanshan had a falling out with her scumbag ex-boyfriend at Empire Hotel, her ex-boyfriend had left her things at his doorstep and called her on purpose, telling her to go get them. In truth, he was trying to humiliate her. After all, Feng Shanshan was the one who had mocked him in public that day. Moreover, the little beauty he was going out with was ignoring him. Feng Shanshan was in the forensics lab when she answered the call, and found that Mu Chichi was looking at her when she hung up. Is eavesdropping a habit of yours? I just don't get it. Why do you have that scumbag's number in your phone? Mu Chichi crossed her arms and shook her head. Besides, are you really that stupid? Are you really going to be greedy for those things? I don't think those things are important, but the only photo of my parents is in my suitcase. I have to get it back. Feng Shanshan replied. He wouldn't be so kind as to let you get it. If it were me, I would just throw it away. Isn't that scumbag's intentions obvious? It's none of your business. With those words, Feng Shanshan took off her white coat and left the forensics lab. Of course, Mu Chichi wouldn't stick to the cold shoulder since Feng Shanshan had put it that way. She simply called Xing Xiao, even though she felt that it was a waste of his time. Su Che quickly received Xing Xiao's order to contact the scumbag's parents. It was easy to deal with someone like that since it was just a small company. Feng Shanshan returned the car to the scumbag and hailed a cab to his mansion. However, when the scumbag saw Feng Shanshan, he pointed at a nearby trash can and said, "Your things are in there. You want them? Go get them yourself." Feng Shanshan knew that it would be such humiliation, and she had to admit that being with that scumbag had pushed her to the limit of her tolerance. That was why she went to the trash can without a word and started to search for the photo. But when she started to stink, the scumbag took out the photo from his pocket and said, "Are you looking for this?" Feng Shanshan's eyes reddened when she saw the photo in his hand. "Give it back. I know you care about your parents, but it's a pity that it's useless for you to keep it. They've already started their own families, so why don't I tear it for you?" With that, the photo was torn into two halves in the scumbag's hand. "We've been together for years. Why must you be so ruthless?" Feng Shanshan asked with a trembling voice. Chapter 429. Give me back the photo. You can do whatever you want. That was the most important thing to Feng Shanshan. Even if the scumbag tore it apart, she wanted the pieces of the photo. "Then come here and kneel before me." The scumbag hooked his finger at Feng Shanshan. "Can't you let me go for the sake of my miscarriage? I told you to scram before, but you insisted. Now, I've changed my mind." The scumbag arched a brow and placed the photo on the table in front of him. "Come here and kneel before me to apologize. I'll let you take the photo away." Feng Shanshan swallowed her anger. She had no other choice but to walk up to the scumbag and kneel on the green grass. Then, the scumbag kicked her to the ground. "You be *tch. You embarrassed me in public. I'll make you happy." Feng Shanshan lay on the ground and clenched her fists. She could not fight back. At that moment, the scumbag's parents suddenly drove up to their son's villa. When the scumbag saw his parents' car parked at the door, he quickly helped Feng Shanshan up from the ground. "Shanshan, why did you fall to the ground?" he asked with hypocrisy. The scumbag's father was not fooled. After getting out of the car, he walked up to his son, picked up a stool beside him and smashed it on his back. The scumbag fell to the ground and rolled around in pain. "Come in." His imposing figure dragged the scumbag into the living room with an absolute aura. Along the way, the scumbag let out a series of screams. In fact, the parents had already arrived when Feng Shanshan was rummaging through the trash. 2 days ago, someone from Enchanting came to discuss a takeover. They did not know the reason, but today, they called him and told him to go home and teach his son a lesson. If he had not seen the scumbag humiliating a girl, he would have thought himself innocent. However, after seeing what his son had done, as a father, he couldn't say anything. He did not know that he had raised such a scumbag. Feng Shanshan was helped into the living room by the scumbag's mother. They knew that their son had a girlfriend, but they had never met her in an ordinary family. They did not expect that their first meeting would be under such circumstances. Feng Shanshan did not know what was going on. She followed him into the living room of the villa. However, the scumbag's father found a golf club and swung it at his son. The screams came one after another. When the scum vomited blood, the scum's father finally stopped. "Dad, you're going to kill me. Beating you to death is considered a light punishment. If it wasn't for breaking the law, I would have chopped you up today." The scumbag's father said to his son, "Do you know that you've offended someone you shouldn't have? If the company goes bankrupt, not to mention you're now a rich second generation, I'm afraid you can only go to the streets and become a beggar. You still want a girl to kneel to you? Let me tell you, from today onwards, I won't give you a single cent. I want to see how you're going to continue fooling around." The scumbag lay on the ground moaning. After this beating, he would probably have to stay in the hospital for 10 days to half a month. "Dad, our family is so rich. If you don't give it to me, who will you give it to? Even if I donate it, I won't give it to you." With that, the scumbag's father stood up from the sofa and walked to Feng Shanshan. "I didn't know this animal was such a thing. I heard that you lost your body because of him 2 days ago. I don't have anything here, and I don't know how to compensate you. I can only express my sincerity and hope that you can live a happy life in the future." Feng Shanshan looked at the father and did not take the check. She only said, "I haven't used his money in the years I've been with him, so I won't take it now. I've driven the sports car and other things, but I've returned them. I broke the card he gave me as a breakup fee and threw it away. I only want the photos of my parents." With that, Feng Shanshan turned around and planned to leave the scumbag's house. When the scumbag's father heard what Feng Shanshan said, he kicked the scumbag a few more times. "I hope that when you go back, Miss Feng, you can put in a good word for me in front of the person in charge of Zhongting. I will definitely take care of my son later." Feng Shanshan did not understand what the father meant. She simply picked up the photo of her parents from the garden and left the scumbag's house. At the very least, she had seen the scumbag get beaten up with her own eyes just now, and it was a relief. Still, she did not believe that it was a coincidence that her parents came, especially when the scumbag's father told her to put in a good word for him in front of the person in charge of Zhongting. How would she know the person in charge of Zhongting? The only person who would poke her nose into such matters was Mu Chichi. Wait, Mu Chichi. Zhongting. Although Feng Shanshan was kicked, it was not a heavy one. Compared to the pain that the scumbag had suffered just now, it was nothing. Later, Feng Shanshan returned to the forensics lab and stuck the photo with a transparent tape before carefully putting it back in her pocket. Mu Chichi said when she saw it when she was done with her experiment. "I couldn't tell that you're such a filial son. Why are you always peeking at others? Get it straight. You're in the forensics lab, and such an obvious place is for people to see. You could have stuck it back at home otherwise." Feng Shanshan had nothing to say. Pausing for a moment, she then said, "You helped me today, didn't you? What does that have to do with me? Otherwise, no one in this world would care about me," Feng Shanshan said. "The photo you saw just now was when I was 15 years old. It was the last photo of my parents before they divorced. After that, the two of them started their own families. Other than giving me a fixed amount of money every month, they didn't ask about anything else. But why would I tell you that? What happened to you at the Mu family back then is no less spread, and not much better than me." Mu Chichi said nothing, and simply washed the utensils in silence. "Your family built Zhongting, didn't they? Or perhaps the crown prince built it? How so? Otherwise, I can't think of any other reason why someone from Zhongting would help an annoying stranger like me. At those words, Mu Chi-chi turned to look at Feng Shanshan. So, are you going to tell the Xing family? Feng Shanshan smiled but said nothing. Chapter 430. Come to think of it, it was time for her to complain to the Xing family. One night later, Feng Shanshan asked Mu Chi-chi as she was leaving the forensics lab. Do you want me to tell the Xing family? I really don't need that. It's up to you. The two of them still maintained this kind of atmosphere. As long as they were together, they would be at daggers drawn. Especially in school, Feng Shanshan still had many good friends, while Mu Chi-chi was still a lone wolf. But for now, Feng Shanshan would not really cause trouble for Mu Chi-chi in private. In fact, on the surface, the two of them seemed to be competing with each other, but in fact, they were both cool and had done many things for each other. Mu Chi-chi mainly treated Feng Shanshan because of the miscarriage and the scumbag. Feng Shanshan, on the other hand, blocked a lot of rumors for Mu Chi-chi. Naturally, the main reason was still the Xing family. As a matter of fact, old Xing would sometimes have Feng Shanshan come to him if he wanted to know something, and at other times, he would go to her personally. However, the matter with Mu Chi-chi had become more and more boring over the last 6 months. That was why the old man had been too lazy to seek her out, and would have her come by herself, with the butler bringing her to the old man's study. It was the same on this night. Feng Shanshan followed the old butler when she arrived at the Xing residence. Along the way, she met the other members of the Xing family, including Gu Xiling. Gu Xiling recognized Feng Shanshan at once, and asked the butler, "Did Grandpa bring this woman in again?" "Young madam, it's Grandpa's business. Servants like us shouldn't ask." Gu Xiling, dressed in a long white dress, glared at Feng Shanshan imperiously. "We've met at Empire Hotel. I remember." Feng Shanshan's words held a hidden meaning. "I don't understand why Grandpa would think so highly of you. Perhaps you have something special about you, but I was a little surprised when I saw you that day at the hotel. I think that you should at least maintain your basic manners as a woman, and don't cross the line again. I don't think I have to listen to your teachings, young madam." Feng Shanshan retorted stubbornly, before turning to the old butler. "Let's hurry inside." Gu Xiling was stunned. It seemed to be the first time she met such a stubborn person. No, it was the second time. Mu Chi-chi was one of them. Was that why the old man valued this woman so much that she kept an eye on Mu Chi-chi? Birds of a feather really do flock together. Feng Shanshan did not take Gu Xiling's words to heart. She only had one boss, and that was Grandpa Xing. A moment later, the two of them entered the old master's study, where the old master was practicing calligraphy. "Chairman, I'm here to report as usual." "There's nothing special, let's go back," Grandpa Xing said. "However, you haven't seen Xing Xiao even once in such a long time." Grandpa Xing was always angry when others mentioned Xing Xiao. However, he could mention it himself. That was how capricious he was. "I've only seen him once. There was a murder in the middle of the night." He drove Mu Chi-chi to the crime scene. He was driving a very ordinary car, and he looked very dispirited, Feng Shanshan replied. "He doesn't look like the handsome crown prince at all. What can you do even if you're willing to be ruined by that bitch? In the future, you can come here once every 2 weeks. Or, if you have any special discoveries, you can come here directly. I see that the young madam of your family doesn't like me. I'll call you from now on," Feng Shanshan suggested. After all, the Xing family isn't a place commoners like us can just come in. The old man frowned at that, but nodded. "That works." The family was so arrogant that they considered themselves kings and emperors. And when Feng Shanshan left the Xing family's residence, the servants kept a close eye on her. Were they afraid that a commoner like her would steal something? It was no wonder Mu Qiqi hated the Xing family so much. There was no normal person who wouldn't hate such a family. Their eyes were all on top of their heads. After leaving the Xing family's residence, Feng Shanshan turned to look at the huge mansion. They had a lot of money, but they were really stupid. Xing Xiao had kept a low profile and built Zhongting in just half a year, widening the horizons of everyone in Jianchuan. And yet, this family was so short-sighted. It was no wonder Jianchuan lived up to its reputation. She really wanted to know what the family's expression would be when they realized the relationship between Zhongting and Xing Xiao. Meanwhile, Mu Qiqi was leaning on Xing Xiao's body and reading past cases. Still, when she remembered that Feng Shanshan had gone to the Xing family, she tugged at Xing Xiao's sleeve and asked, "Do you think Feng Shanshan would tell the Xing family about your relationship with Zhongting? Don't you know the answer in your heart?" Xing Xiao glared at her. "Do you really need me to praise your wisdom and decisiveness?" Mu Qiqi laughed and wrapped her arms around Xing Xiao's neck. "I heard that Feng Shanshan's ex-boyfriend was sent to the hospital after being beaten up by his own father. Su Che is so reassuring. You vented your anger." "Of course I've vented my anger with my husband, it feels good." Xing Xiao pressed down on Mu Qiqi's head to stop her from moving around. This little one was getting better and better at flattering people. He wondered if there would come a day when she would climb onto his head and pee on it. "So, when is the business gathering?" "In 2 days. Xing Xiao replied. "I'm getting a little excited just thinking about it." Mu Qiqi chuckled. On the next day, Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan ran into each other in school. The professor called them to inform them that the case of the high heels corpse had been solved. Both of them shared a look, but neither said a word. No one could understand this kind of love-hate relationship. It turned out that the culprit was the lover of the shoe shop owner. She would wear those heels every time they went on a date, which left a deep mark in his heart. Later, when he found out that the woman was wearing red heels with someone else, he killed her in a fit of impulse, chopping off her limbs and throwing her into the sewers. From then on, he hated anyone who bought these red high heels. That was why he pretended to be the man's lover and continued selling shoes online. He would get the address of anyone who bought those red heels, and kill them to vent his anger. To experience that pleasure, he even built a machine with his own hands that could instantly remove the limbs of a corpse. Chapter 431. The top business gathering would be held in the Grand Houston Square in a day's time. On that day, the representative of Zhongting would really be there. This time, it was not a fake news. But before that, Xing Kai took the time to do a physical checkup. Once the results were out, his personal doctor immediately called him and asked him to make time to see the doctor. Xing Kai did not tell Gu Xiling about it. It was a man's pride anyway. So, his personal doctor was personally invited to his office by his assistant and brought his checkup report. "Chief Xing, I'm afraid you need to go to the hospital for a more comprehensive checkup," the doctor suggested as he placed his examination report on the table. "I suspect that you have immune infertility." Xing Kai's expression changed when he heard that. "Explain clearly." The doctor took some time to explain to Xing Kai the cause of immune infertility and the consequences of it. "But there is no big problem in that aspect of my life. There may be a hereditary history," the doctor explained. "Can it be treated?" "Of course, but I need your cooperation." Xing Kai could cooperate, but he did not want anyone to know that he could not have a child, especially Gu Xiling. It was a man's pride. "I can cooperate, but I must make sure that no one else knows." With his current physical condition, it was almost impossible to get Gu Xiling pregnant. So, that night, even when Gu Xiling took the initiative to invite him, he did not have the intention. Instead, he was in a state of alertness and irritation. What's wrong? Gu Xiling had never seen him like this. I'm just too tired from work. It's nothing. Go to sleep. Xing Kai explained and comforted Gu Xiling. Gu Xiling thought that he was under too much pressure, so she didn't ask much and quickly fell asleep. However, Xing Kai couldn't fall asleep no matter how hard he tried. He could not even give Gu Xiling a child. If this matter were to spread, his reputation as the CEO of Huang Yao and the head of the Xing family would be ruined. He would become a laughing stock. After all, not many men could endure such humiliation. The next day, Xing Xiao went to the Shen family before heading to Zhongting. After all, Shen Jianchuan was the one who made him who he was, which was why in his heart, Shen Jianchuan was his father just like Papa Xing. The reason why he went to the Shen family was to ask Shen Jianchuan if he wanted to attend the business gathering that night. Shen Jianchuan knew that he had already decided to reveal his identity. He did not want to monopolize this identity, so he was willing to share it with him. However, Shen Jianchuan was more willing to be the person behind the scenes. After all, it was the era of the young. It was safer for the older generation to hide at the back. I will remember your kindness. But, I hope that you will use your kindness on my daughter. I am satisfied with your performance so far. As for the business gathering, it is an occasion for you youngsters. I will stay at home and fish with the old man. Shen Jianchuan had his reasons for not attending. After all, the whole Shen family was in the limelight now. It was better for him to stay away from them, so that his brother could be the mayor for a longer time. When Qi turns 20, I plan to bring her abroad for registration. It doesn't matter if you have that piece of paper. Shen Jianchuan was not in a hurry. He wanted to keep his daughter for a few more years anyway. Dad, you should find yourself a partner. Shen Jianchuan smiled and waved for Xing Xiao to leave. Go do what you need to do. Why bother with an idler like me? Xing Xiao did not stay long at the Shen family. Their houses were too close, and it was convenient for them to visit each other. Still, before Xing Xiao went to Zhongting, he told Su Che to send the gown he had made for Qi to the villa so that she could try it on. Now, the little one's figure was becoming more voluptuous. Xing Xiao did not want other men to stare at her, but he did not want to overshadow her beauty either. Tonight, let's watch a good show. The Xing family would not be prepared for it, since Xing Xiao had hidden it too well over the last 6 months. And Jing Yun would attend the gathering with Xing Minglan. Of course, all he was interested in was watching the Xing family put on a good show. At 6 in the evening, Xing Minglan was changing at home. When she saw that Jing Yun had changed too, she said, "Why don't we go with Qi Qi? Let them go alone. It would be more surprising that way." Xing Minglan thought about it and nodded. She felt a surge of emotions at the thought of Xing Xiao returning to his peak. Meanwhile, third brother had changed into a dark green suit and a bow tie as he came downstairs. When he saw that Xing Kai and Gu Xiling were dressed up, he gave them a thumbs up. What a perfect match! Xing Kai was wearing a dark blue handmade suit, while Gu Xiling was wearing a white halter dress. Although they were beautiful in such cold weather, were they not afraid of catching a cold? Of course, to Xing Kai, it was enough to save face. He had never been particularly concerned about Gu Xiling's health, especially after he found out what was wrong with him. He was even more afraid to talk about health. Hence, the trio got into the Lincoln Stretch limousine. Meanwhile, third brother was tidying his sleeves along the way, and could not help mocking himself. I'm still lacking a woman. Having a lady from a good family like sister-in-law for a wife is such a relief. Grandpa is asking you to go so that you can find someone who understands you. Gu Xiling quickly said. We'll meet the person in charge of Enchanting soon. I really want to know who the person who made me pay 6.5 billion is. Third brother pretended not to understand, and pretended to be a depressed youth as he looked out the window. Otherwise, he would have laughed out loud. It was not that he had anything against Huang Yao or second brother, but eighth brother's brain had been specially made by God. Anyone who dared to compete with him in the business world would only be asking for humiliation. He just hoped that second brother would not have a heart attack from his anger tonight. Since he was the CEO of Huang Yao, the trio were invited to the main hall when they arrived. There were no less than 100 guests in the hall that resembled a heavenly palace. Third brother searched everywhere for Xing Xiao, but he did not seem to have arrived. If that was the case, he could get to know the little beauty who was already there. Chapter 432. Over the last 6 months, few have seen his true face. Could he be so ugly that he doesn't dare to show his face? We're all businessmen of Jianchuan. Why would he be afraid to show his face? Didn't he make the people of Huang Yao suffer in silence just days ago? Everyone in the venue was speculating about the CEO of Enchanting. It was clear how mysterious he was, and how much they wanted to scratch their hearts. But the more it was so, the more Xing Xiao planned to arrive late. Wouldn't everyone's eyes be on him then? Soon, a Rolls-Royce Phantom stopped at the entrance of the venue. Xing Xiao was dressed in a vintage flaxen suit, and led Muqiqi, who was wearing a starry sky dress, into the venue. Am I seeing things? Why do I see Xing Xiao coming in? I think I see him too. Is Xing Xiao here? The man who had shaken the world half a year ago was rumored to have been utterly ruined by a woman. Why would he be here at such a grand business gathering today? Moreover, looking at his appearance, he looked so heroic and vigorous. Where did he look like he was defeated? Everyone in the venue watched as Xing Xiao led Muqiqi and Su Che into the venue. Of course, the esteemed guests did not seem to have connected Xing Xiao with Enchanting, and were therefore very puzzled by his arrival. Only the bigwigs who worked with Xing Xiao quickly came up and shook his hand. Chief Xing, we welcome you. Yeah. I thought you wouldn't come to a gathering like this since you're so busy every day. Xing Xiao smiled in return, and turned to Xing Kai nearby. Wait, what's going on? Isn't the Crown Prince of Huang Yao second young master Xing Kai now? Don't talk nonsense. Chief Xing coming to the gathering has nothing to do with Huang Yao, because he's now the CEO of Enchanting. A friend who was close to Xing Xiao explained for him. With his explanation, everyone came to a sudden realization. So he's the CEO of Enchanting. Oh my God, this means that he has been developing the military industry for the past 6 months. It's not like what the rumors say, that his future was ruined by a woman. Now, all the guests were shocked. The former crown prince of Huang Yao, whom they thought would never rise again in this lifetime, had developed an impressive military enterprise in just half a year. Xing Xiao had thought that there was nothing left after he left Huang Yao. In the end, he became the CEO of Enchanting. This was probably the most powerful slap in the face in the world, right? Listening to the shocked voices of the guests, one could tell how much Xing Xiao had shocked them. Not far away, Xing Kai was in disbelief too. Grandpa had sent someone to keep an eye on Muqiqi. Everyone in the Shen family had said that Xing Xiao was a poor son-in-law. But who would have thought that? This person actually managed to pull the wool over everyone's eyes. Actually, he had long been full of ambition and was already plotting something else. No. Xing Kai felt humiliated because it meant that Xing Xiao did not care for Huang Yao at all. That was why he left the Xing family in such a manner, and established Enchanting in just half a year. This person did not just betray his family. And it was not just Xing Kai. Even Gu Xiling, who was standing beside Xing Kai, had to admit that no matter how hard Xing Kai worked, the gap between an ordinary person and a genius was clear. Everyone else would pale in comparison when they were in the same space as Xing Xiao. Even though he didn't appear in such an arrogant manner, appearing quietly and normally as a person in charge, he was still so dazzling that it made others feel ashamed of their own inferiority. I really didn't expect that Xing Xiao would be Xing Xiao. What a shock. The guests' discussion grew louder and louder. It was only then that Jing Yun led Xing Minglan to Xing Xiao. "Hello, Chief Xing." Xing Xiao reached out and shook Jing Yun's hand. "We might have a chance to work together." In just half a year, Xing Xiao had become much more mature. The sharpness around him had faded, and he no longer had the sense of danger that people could see from him wherever he went. As expected of someone who caught Secretary He's eye. He didn't disappoint us. "Chief Xing, I look forward to working with you." Xing Xiao thanked all the guests who came up to him, before turning his eyes to Xing Kai. In that very moment, Xing Kai's existence was a joke. He picked up Huang Yao that Xing Xiao did not want. He picked up the woman that Xing Xiao did not want. At first, he thought that he was shouldering the responsibility of the family. But now, it seemed that the entire Xing family was nothing more than chess pieces on Xing Xiao's chessboard. Gu Xiling could empathize with Xing Kai's feelings, because she was feeling complicated as well. Even so, it was precisely because of such an occasion that she should not lose face. "Let's go and say hello." Xing Kai walked stiffly to Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi, and said through clenched teeth, "Nice move. You've turned everyone in the Xing family into a joke. It's my business how I develop after I left the Xing family. Why would I make the Xing family feel so bad now that I've become successful?" Xing Xiao asked in return. "Now that you're the high and mighty CEO of Zhongting and all the bigwigs in Jianchuan are your friends, is there a need for you to talk to old people like us who have no power? Just a few days ago, you had your assistant humiliate me at the auction. Xing Xiao, don't you think you're so great? Abandoning Huang Yao to build Zhongting." Xing Xiao said nothing in response to Xing Kai's question, but Mu Qiqi did. In half a year, she had become even more mature and beautiful. "Don't think too highly of yourselves." Xiao Xiao left the Xing family to escape old Xing's control. "Don't you know what's bothering you? It's been half a year, and you're still as sharp as ever." Xing Kai retorted. "You're the one who took him away." Xing Xiao was fine at home back then, and would he have left if not for you? "So, I've given you the position of the CEO, the shares, and you've become the boss. Now, you're blaming Xiao Xiao for abandoning his responsibilities. Aren't you a B***tch now?" Mu Qiqi was not to be outdone. "Why is the Xing family so hateful? Why is everyone so full of themselves? When you want Xing Xiao to manage Huang Yao, he has to work without complaint, and when you want power, you kick him out and send people to keep an eye on him every day. Now, you're jealous when he's making it big." Mu Qiqi. Xing Kai's voice was a little louder now. Chapter 433. Gu Xiling stopped Xing Kai at that and stared at them. "If you're here to show off today, you've achieved your goal. Can you let us go now? You're the ones who won't let go of yourselves." Mu Qiqi replied. "Let me formally introduce you. This is Xing Xiao, the CEO of Zhongting. He has nothing to do with the Xing family, and we should draw a clear line between us in the future." Xing Xiao did not say a word from start to end, and merely stroked the angry little tiger in his arms. She was still the same, fuming at the sight of the Xing family. They were not exactly flaunting their prowess, because Xing Xiao was not here for the Xing family at all. What was Huang Yao now? In Xing Xiao's eyes, it was nothing more than a passing cloud. After that, Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi chatted warmly with the guests, and everyone's opinion of Xing Xiao changed greatly. They only felt that he was young and hot-blooded, and not to be trifled with, and always carried a hint of violence when he appeared. Now, he appeared much gentler and more composed. But only Mu Qiqi knew that the man's level of black-bellied schemes was incurable, and there was no antidote. Feeling humiliated, Xing Kai went to the garden with Gu Xiling for a breath of fresh air. I still don't know how to tell grandfather about this. Gu Xiling thought about it and told Xing Kai, grandfather found someone to keep an eye on them, but it's useless. You can't be blamed. I really didn't expect Xing Xiao to have this trick up his sleeve, playing everyone like monkeys. If you think this gathering is boring, let's find an excuse to leave. Xing Kai shook his head and calmed himself. Will be a joke if we leave just like that. Gu Xiling did not know why he had to be so stubborn. He clearly could not stand Xing Xiao's presence, and yet he was forcing himself to stay. All right, I'll go with you. I saw Xing Xiao's assistant just now. He's the one who sent third brother home, but third brother said he doesn't know him. It was clear that third brother knew about Zhongting all along, and just did not tell them. That third brother really is a traitor. Calling him a traitor. That was completely non-existent. After all, third brother did not take it to heart at all. No matter how the old man blamed him, he would insist that he did not know. What could the family do to him? Moreover, he was truly proud of eighth brother's success. Especially after seeing the changes in his eighth brother in the past half a year, he felt that only a person with a big picture would be able to succeed. Xing Xiao's stunning appearance soon became a hot topic in the circle, and the three scions who wanted him to kneel finally came out and told the truth. Actually, it was Xing Xiao who taught us a lesson. Now that I think about it, the crown prince is still the crown prince. Because of Xing Xiao's presence, the business gathering became his personal show, while the others were overshadowed. In the end, Xing Kai did not stay until the end. Whenever he thought of Xing Xiao abandoning Huang Yao and going to Zhongting, he felt disgusted. When he left with Gu Xiling, he did not even call out to third brother. Since third brother and eighth brother were close, he should go ahead. When they got home, Grandpa Xing was watching TV in the living room. He placed his hands on his walking stick, his face expressionless. When Xing Kai saw that, he walked up to the old man. Grandfather, Grandpa Xing looked at the time and answered, "You're back so early. Did something happen?" "There's something I want to tell you, but I'm afraid you'll get emotional after you hear it." "Tell me. What else have I not experienced?" Grandpa Xing smiled coolly. Xing Kai took a deep breath and glanced at Gu Xiling. After getting her permission, he told the old man, "We met the person in charge of Zhongting at the gathering today." And then, "It's Xing Xiao." The old man did a double take at that. "Who are you talking about?" "Xing Xiao." So, after he left Huang Yao half a year ago, no, before that, he had founded Zhongting, but never announced it to the public and treated everyone like fools. Isn't it a slap in the face for the Xing family when he suddenly appeared before everyone today? Xing Kai became increasingly agitated as he spoke. As if he did not hear him clearly, the old man asked again, "Who are you talking about?" "Xing Xiao." The old man promptly flipped the table in front of him at that, shattering the glass on the floor. Gu Xiling was stunned. She had never seen such a huge reaction from the old man, and it was clear that the hatred in his heart was still as heavy as ever, especially now that Xing Xiao had made a comeback. Could the old man feel good about that? Obviously, it was impossible. Later, the old man returned to his study and called his various friends to confirm the news. Xing Xiao had become the CEO of Zhongting, and he was actually doing better after abandoning the Xing family. No, he could not accept such an outcome. As for Xingkai, he waited in the living room, wanting to know when third brother would return. The old man was slumped in his study, while Xingkai was in the living room. Both grandfather and grandson were in a terrible mood. However, third brother only returned home after the gathering was over, reeking of alcohol, which infuriated Xingkai even more. Did you already know that Enchanting belongs to Xingxiao? Third brother promptly turned to the sofa when he heard that. When he saw Xingkai sitting there, he walked up to him and said seriously, I only found out about it tonight. How do you explain Xingxiao's assistant who sent you home the other day? I don't know him. We're brothers. What's the point of pretending in front of me? Xingkai suddenly asked sharply. You're a Xing. Can't you put yourself in second brother's shoes and grandfather's shoes for a moment? Third brother chuckled at the rebuke. Did I ask eighth brother to go out? Did I ask him to build Enchanting? Since it wasn't me, what's the use of venting your anger on me? You should have told us earlier. Would you have destroyed it if I had? Third brother finished Xingkai's words. Second brother, you know very well what you've become over the last 6 months. I don't need to remind you how dirty and dark your heart is. I don't think Xingxiao did anything wrong when he left, and it's only right that he built Enchanting. Why are you so angry and jealous? Chapter 434. Slap, there was a loud sound, and the living room became very quiet. Realizing that he had gone too far, Xingkai promptly sat back down on the sofa. Meanwhile, third brother smirked coolly, clutching his smacked cheek. Moments later, old Xing walked out. Clearly, he had heard the conversation between the brothers, and so, leaning on his walking stick, he asked third brother, You knew about this long ago? Third brother nodded. I'll say it again. I didn't know. Third brother said coldly. Believe it or not. With that, third brother returned to his room. In the darkness, the two men were left feeling unusually resentful and upset. But who could they blame? Xingxiao could only be blamed for being too cunning. Even Feng Shanshan could not see through Muqiqi, and it appeared that the Xing family would not be able to sleep that night. On the other hand, another group of people were seething, the magazine media. Look at how legendary Xingxiao's story was. Over the last 6 months, everyone had assumed that they could trample over Xingxiao's head. They did not expect that Xingxiao would be so tenacious, developing Enchanting to where it was today without anyone knowing. It was truly unimaginable, and amply proved that Xingxiao's ability was not something mortals could compare to. Early next morning, photos of Xingxiao and Muqiqi at a business gathering were published everywhere. They certainly looked like a perfect match, Papa Xing was reading the newspaper in the dining room early in the morning, and asked when he saw Xingxiao coming downstairs, How did the Xing family look yesterday? Second brother left halfway. Xingxiao replied. His mental fortitude is really lacking even though he's the CEO of Huangyao. Papa Xing said, putting the newspaper aside. And don't even mention the old one in the family. Who cares about them now? Mama Xing came out with a glass of milk and sat beside her husband. I just want the whole world to know about my son. It's been so stifling over the last 6 months. No matter what, you have to be careful. Your father is working all day, and I have my own things to do. You don't have to worry about danger. As for Xiao Qi, you have to take care of him. Muqiqi slept until the middle of the morning. It was not easy for her to have a holiday, and there were no cases in the forensics lab. That was why she did not wake up together with Xingxiao, and instead received a call from Feng Shanshan asking her to go out and play. Forget it. You're still the old man's woman. I'm afraid you'll eat me up. Unexpectedly, Feng Shanshan laughed on the other end of the line. Everyone in the world knows who the CEO of Enchanting is now. Don't you want to come out and relax? Please keep your enemy awake. I'm going back to sleep. There was no telling how old Xing would deal with Feng Shanshan. Perhaps Feng Shanshan could handle it herself. But no matter what, she did not want innocent people to be hurt because of this matter. There was no need to say much about the atmosphere in the Xing family. After the news spread, the entire Xing family was gloomy, and no one expected that Xing Xiao, who was said to be crippled yesterday, would rise again today. Of course, apart from Grandpa Xing and Xing Kai, sixth brother was also very dissatisfied. I really didn't expect that scum to make a comeback. The old man had not said a word since last night, and was still quiet at the dining table today. Everyone else did not dare to breathe too loudly, and waited for the old man to speak. Eat. Why are you all looking at me? Grandfather, we're just worried about you. What do you have to worry about? Old Xing seemed to have aged a few years overnight. You don't have to do this if it's because of Xing Xiao. I'm in good spirits. I'm not that weak yet. Xiling, stay at home today. Keep grandfather company. Xing Kai was still worried. Gu Xiling nodded and agreed to Xing Kai's arrangement. In truth, everyone knew that who would be happy after something like this happened? Only third brother was eating and sleeping as usual. From today onwards, third brother is suspended from his duties. Everyone did a double take, not understanding what was going on. However, third brother knew very well, and rose from the dining table after eating, completely ignoring the old man's words. At that, Xing Kai put down his bowl and chopsticks and asked third brother, "What's your attitude towards grandfather? Don't burn me if you're angry. I'm innocent." With that, third brother returned to his room. Gu Xiling had been quiet for the whole night when she saw how angry her husband and elders were, and finally could not hold back the words in her heart. Kai, grandfather, I think that Xing Xiao's founding of Enchanting might not be a bad thing for us. Think about it, even if Xing Xiao left the Xing family, the blood of the Xing family still flows in his veins. Even if Xing Xiao wants to draw a line between us, we won't let him. We could still use him to build momentum for ourselves, build relationships for ourselves, and increase our bargaining chips. Think about it. Enchanting might want to target us, but to the outside world, we are just like the Gu family and the Su family, giving Huang Yao another layer of assurance. If that's not profit, what is it? Xing Kai's eyes lit up at Gu Xiling's words, while the old man's expression was no longer as somber. Since everyone can't accept Enchanting's existence, why not use it? Isn't that great? Sixth brother gave Gu Xiling a thumbs up at that. You're so smart, second sister-in-law. Yes, he abandoned us first. He didn't want Huang Yao, so why do we have to hide from him? It doesn't make sense. As expected, there were two sides to every coin. Meanwhile, Gu Xiling's words made Xing Kai see his wife in a new light. Still, he felt even more guilty because he couldn't give Gu Xiling a child right away. That's why if Enchanting plays the high game, we'll play the high game. What's there to be afraid of? Enchanting was built by grandfather's grandson, and its grandfather's too. Who would dare to say otherwise? In short, Huang Yao was starting to be unreasonable. No, it should be called shameless. Since they were hurting each other, they would keep hurting each other to the end. With that, the old man understood, because every word Gu Xiling said was right. Chapter 435. Now that Xing Xiao had revealed his identity, it meant that he was officially operating in public in Jianchuan. Now that Xing Xiao had leapt to become the most promising entrepreneur in the country, the media and magazines would naturally fight to interview him. There was even a TV station that invited Xing Xiao to record a financial interview. Now that Xing Zhao's value had naturally risen, the outside world was very curious about what had happened to him over the last 6 months. Chief, I've just received word that the Xing family is congratulating Zhongting in public. Su Che sent the video of Xing Kai's interview to Xing Zhao. Xing Zhao's expression did not change after he watched it, but his lips curled into a faint smile. It seems that the Xing family is eyeing Zhongting again. I don't quite understand. Su Che said. It doesn't matter. Didn't I tell you to turn down all the magazine interviews? Now, send me all the invitations for review. Are you not going to refuse them? Xing Zhao nodded and picked out the top magazines. Contact the editor. I agree to the interview. And the TV station's invitation. Arrange it too. The Xing family would not be able to understand the situation if they did not make a serious statement. I'll contact them right away. In the past, Xing Zhao's way of dealing with the old man was to meet force with force and fight until the old man admitted defeat. But now, after half a year of settling down, Xing Zhao had no intention of contacting or clashing with the old man head-on. There were some things that could be solved with more than one way. They would be wrong to think that Xing Zhao's temper was the same as half a year ago. Over the last few days, Wang Yao had continuously announced its stance towards Zhongting, either ambiguous or misleading, which left the outside world with the impression that the relationship between the Xing family and Xing Zhao had eased, leaving many to speculate. In the past, Xing Zhao would definitely retaliate or do something drastic. But this time, Zhongting did not respond at all, which left the Xing family unsure what Xing Zhao was planning. He had been so excited and forceful when he trampled on others, wanting to trample Xing Zhao into the dirt. But now that Zhongting had struck it rich, a bunch of people were rushing to make use of others, with sixth brother being the most excited. Before, when Xing Zhao left, he could not wait for him to never return to the Xing family. But now, he was the most excited one. Thinking about it, wasn't it ironic? As for Gu Xiling, third brother had really underestimated his second sister-in-law. He used to think that she was arrogant and virtuous, but now it seemed that she was just that. She did not have any sense of propriety at all. Third brother, you have been in contact with eighth brother for the past 6 months, right? When third brother was having lunch at home, sixth brother came up to him and said, "You're really not loyal enough to keep hiding it from your family." Enraged, third brother promptly threw away his chopsticks. "Are you going to let me eat in peace?" "Okay, I won't say it, okay?" Whether it's to me or to eighth brother, this family is worthy of the word taunting. With that, third brother rose to his feet and returned to his room. Now that he was suspended from work, he had no interest in going out for a stroll, because he knew that old Xing wanted him to go to Xing Zhao. Of course he would not. Since he was not sure if Xing Zhao would reconcile with Huang Yao in the end, the Xing family kept sending guests over the last few days. On one hand, it was to give old Xing face, and on the other, they wanted to get some information and build a good relationship with the Xing family as soon as possible. The guest's face was full of flattery, and third brother had a good show to watch. However, the most ironic thing was not how snobbish these guests looked, but how the old man enjoyed others' flattery and fawning so naturally. It was really a little shameless. How much did Xing Zhao despise others when he was depressed? And now, he knew how to bask in their glory. The more he looked at the Xing family, the stranger he found them. Every one of them was so natural, and if he were eighth brother, he would be disgusted to death. The reason Xing Zhao was not disgusted was because he would retaliate soon. Interviews and television appearances. When Mama Xing heard about it from Xing Zhao during dinner, she felt that her bottom line as a human had been broken. Wait, why are the Xing family so shameless? Mom, you don't have to be so agitated. Anyway, this matter will be cleared up soon. I've never seen such a shameless person. Mama Xing shook her head. She felt goosebumps all over her body. Hurry up and clarify this matter. It's your father-in-law who helped you this time. Even if it's related to the Shin family, it has nothing to do with the Xing family or the Shin family. Mu Qiqi turned to Xing Xiao at Mama Xing's words. I was wondering why you suddenly agreed to the interview. So it's because of this. You don't like me to be interviewed? Of course not. When you're interviewed, I'll buy 100 copies of magazines and newspapers, and look at your handsome face every day. Xing Xiao frowned at Mu Qiqi's flattering words. You're being unaccountably solicitous. Tell me, are you trying to rape me or steal me? Mu Qiqi was taken aback. Then, she smiled and asked, is it that obvious? Xing Xiao glared at her, looking as if Mu Qiqi could never escape his grasp. Mu Qiqi admitted defeat and said, it's like this. There's a letter from another branch asking for the professor's help to solve a case together. The professor intends to bring me there to study, and since it's in the mountains, I might have to stay there for 2 days. Xing Xiao withdrew his gaze and did not look at Mu Qiqi again. After all, they had been together for a long time and rarely separated for such a long time. Moreover, Mu Qiqi wanted to go to the mountains. It was so remote. She was dealing with murder cases now, and she did not even know that the murderer was right beside her. How could he be at ease if she went alone? You don't agree? No, but you must bring Su Che with you. It was the biggest concession Xing Xiao could make. This time, it was Mu Qiqi who said nothing. When Mama Xing saw that the couple was about to quarrel, she quickly said to her husband, I'm full. Come with me for a walk. But I just started eating. Papa Xing felt very innocent. Mama Xing winked at him, and Papa Xing finally understood. Couldn't he just drag his wife out to make up for his meal? The dining room suddenly became quiet. When Mu Qiqi saw that Xing Xiao was unhappy, she said, actually, the police are everywhere. You really don't have to worry. Chapter 436. All I can tell you and teach you is that an eye for an eye is useless in the face of a ruthless murderer. I know that you're becoming more mature now, and you might not think that I'm right, but I built Zhongting to prevent others from having the chance to offend you again. If you're by my side, I can give you the most protection. But if you leave me, in a place where I can't see you, I'll panic. Xiao Xiao, I know you're worried about me. But I need to grow up too. I'm not fearless just because you've given me complete protection. So, I'll only act under the protection of the police. I won't do things that could endanger my safety. Mu Qiqi hugged him tightly. Xiao Xiao, I know you're worried about me. But I need to grow up too. I can't bring Su Che with me because everyone on the front lines is putting their lives on the line to solve cases. I promise you that you can contact me at any time. You're here, and the one I love is here. I won't let anything happen to me. If Qi compromised and agreed not to study because she loved him, he would feel that he was rearing a canary instead of loving a living person. Forget it. How could he have the heart to refuse his little one's wish? I promise you. Then don't be unhappy. Xing Xiao smiled helplessly. He would spoil the person he loved even if she was kneeling. Even so, in Mu Qiqi's heart, even though she was 8 years younger than Xing Xiao, she felt the same way about him. She did not want to keep demanding things from Xing Xiao. Instead, she hoped that this man would be happy with her, and she would want to spoil him, even if she could do very little for him. That depends on your performance tonight. You're threatening me, you filthy man. Mu Qiqi pouted, but she was actually feeling sweet inside. Even if Xing Xiao was so powerful, he would still panic when he faced her. Just the thought of it was enough to make one smile uncontrollably. When are you leaving? The day after tomorrow. The professor has some things to deal with tomorrow, so he'll leave at night. Then come with me to the magazine for an interview. It was the weekend anyway, and it wouldn't affect her studies. Mu Chichi nodded. She really had no way to deal with this man. Now that the Xing family had done something so provocative, it was as if Xiao Xiao was about to return to the Xing family. That was why they had to be prepared. Almost a day later, at the police academy. When Lin Muhen was training, he seemed to have provoked a transfer student. Moreover, it was a female student with extraordinary skills. When he was in the police academy, he had always scrupulously abided by his duties and never did anything that went against the rules. However, this female classmate, on the first day she transferred to the academy, had a conflict with Lin Muhen. It was all because she had broken the model that he had painstakingly made. That was for little Chili Pepper. Naturally, Lin Muhen fought with his opponent. The two of them almost alerted the trainer. Lin Muhen didn't have a good impression of this transfer student, but he had a feeling that this transfer student was deliberately targeting him. The next day, Lin Muhen's class was in an uproar. This was because this girl announced that Lin Muhen was the man she liked, and no one should compete with her. The students in the class all followed suit. After all, they knew that Lin Muhen didn't have a girlfriend. And now, a fair-skinned and beautiful girl was interested in him. It was as if a beauty had fallen from the heavens. What was there to be dissatisfied about? I have a girlfriend. Lin Muhen promptly replied. Don't waste your time on me. The girl shrugged, completely unconcerned about what he thought. Lin Muhen sighed. From then on, he would keep his distance from this girl as much as he could. After all, even if he and Lu Qianqian were just buddies, he did not forget why he came back to the police academy. It was to protect the people around him, and to protect little Chili Pepper. He wasn't looking forward to some campus romance, and he believed that no one was more important than little Chili Pepper. That was why he had to control his heart. Moreover, he couldn't help suspecting that his grandfather had arranged for this girl to come in and mess with his mind. Then, he would compromise in the end, and he would never fall for it. That was why he warned his roommates, I have a family, so I hope you guys can help me. I don't want any rotten girl, and she would be very sad if she knew. His roommates made an okay gesture. Who didn't have a white moon in their hearts? They naturally understood his feelings. It wasn't that Lin Muhen didn't have the confidence to reject her, but he just didn't want the whole world to know about it, and then misunderstand that he was related to this girl. At that thought, he missed little Chili Pepper a little, and wondered what she was doing. At that thought, he took out his phone and texted Lu Qianqian. I made a few clay figurines for you when I was bored a few days ago, but someone ruined them. TSK. Who would be so kind? I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but your clay figurines are the ugliest in the world. A girl. At the sight of those words, Lu Qianqian sat up on the bed sensitively. Are you dating someone in school? I swear, I just want to be a good student. Lin Muhen replied. Lu Qianqian breathed a sigh of relief, but she still felt a sense of danger. She had never thought that Lin Muhen could have a girlfriend in school. But now, when she heard him say that it was a girl, Lu Qianqian felt suffocated. Then, do you want me to see you? I haven't been to your school for a long time. Sure. Lin Muhen agreed at once. Lu Qianqian suddenly felt relieved at the word sure. Who was she to Lin Muhen? Why should Lin Muhen tell her where he went and who he hung out with? But Lin Muhen had told her of his own accord, and it was nothing special to him. I'll bring you something you like tomorrow. Lin Muhen put away his phone, feeling a little relieved. At the same time, as a man with brains, he knew that he had to ask for help. And now, the only people who could help him were Mu Chichi and Xing Xiao. It had been a long time since Mu Chichi answered Lin Mu An's call. It was so difficult. You remembered to call me. What is it? I want the Crown Prince to help me investigate someone. Lin Mu An said at once. I know it's easy for Xing Xiao. Mu Chichi didn't remember Lin Mu An being so serious, and so she agreed at once. Remember to treat me to a meal next time. Chapter 437. Alright, I'll tell Xiao Xiao. Send me the girl's information, and I'll let you know at once when there's news. Thanks, Xiao Qi. Mu Chichi was willing to help Lin Mu, and because they both knew that Lin Mu An and Lu Qianqian loved each other, but neither of them had exposed that layer of paper. As for Lin Mu An, even if he was a little flirtatious and a little glib in the past, a prodigal who repents is more precious than gold. It was clear from his determination to enroll in the police academy that he was willing to give up the mountains of gold and silver at home to live the toughest life outside. He must have fallen for Lu Qianqian. With that being the case, how could they not try as friends? Soon, Lin Mu An sent her a message about the girl. Mu Chichi was intrigued when she read it, and told Xing Xiao, Xiao, what if this girl's appearance would become the best support for their relationship development? The Lin family is very prejudiced against Lu Qianqian. Can't you stop pouring cold water on me? I think that as long as two people work hard, some things are not as difficult as they imagine. If you could break free from the shackles of the Xing family, why can't Lin Mu An? Xing Xiao received the message and sent it to Su Che, asking for an answer as soon as possible. By the way, you have an interview tomorrow. Rest early today. Mu Chichi said, tugging at Xing Xiao's black pajamas. Go to sleep first. I still have some documents to read. Xing Xiao said, patting her head. In fact, he knew what she was hinting at, and was teasing her. Do you think I don't know that these aren't urgent documents? Xing Xiao put down the documents at her words and looked at Mu Chichi with a half-smile. How do you know they aren't urgent? Look at the time, Xiao. I'm not sleeping at this time usually. Xing Xiao continued to pretend not to understand her invitation. Knowing that he was doing it on purpose, Mu Chichi did not try to persuade him, and simply rose from beside him. All right. I'm going to sleep since you don't want to sleep. With that, Mu Chichi took a few steps forward, when Xing Xiao suddenly hugged her from behind. Little one, is it so hard to just say I want it? I'm a girl, I'm always embarrassed. Xing Xiao turned the little one's body around and quickly unbuttoned her pajamas. This little one's figure was getting more and more pleasing to the eye. Of course, it felt good too. You're already an old married couple. Why are you still so shy? Xing Xiao put her on the bed, pressed her hands down and raised them above her head. Mu Chichi looked at the man's muscular chest unnaturally. She blushed reflexively. She hoped that she would always treat Xiao Xiao like how he was when they first fell in love. She hoped that they would always keep each other fresh. That way, she would feel that she loved this person more and more. She would not feel bored after getting used to it. I'm leaving tomorrow. I really want to bring you along. Those were Mu Chichi's last words before she fell asleep. At the very least, he understood that his little one was reluctant to leave him. On the next day, the Xing family did not know that Xing Xiao was about to be interviewed by a magazine. They were still trying to smooth things over in the business world, as if Zhongting's glory was all thanks to Huang Yao. Someone in the business partners praised old Xing, saying that he had groomed several good grandsons. Now, the Xing family was not just a diamond empire. Their reach had broadened, and the group would grow stronger and have a brighter future. Just a few days ago, the old man had hated Xing Xiao. But now, he was using Xing Xiao again, just like before. His annoying personality had not changed at all. Meanwhile, a reporter from a financial magazine had arrived at Zhongting's guest room. After all, today's interview would be held there. The reporter sent by the magazine was a woman. It must be said that she was very excited to meet this legend. At 10 in the morning, Xing Xiao ended an important meeting and entered the guest room. Meanwhile, the reporter from the financial magazine had made all the necessary preparations and was just waiting for Xing Xiao to enter. Of course, Xing Xiao had personally reviewed the contents of the interview. That was why he was very clear about the specifics of today's interview. Still, the reporters did not expect Mu Qiqi to come in with him. The 19-year-old girl did not appear young at all when she stood beside Xing Xiao. It was as if they were one. She had short, medium hair and fluffy bangs. It was said that the tattoo on her ear was Xing Xiao's English name. "Chief Xing, we can start now." Mu Qiqi let go of Xing Xiao's hand at the reporter's words and walked behind the cameraman. After all, she wanted to see Xing Xiao's most handsome side. "It's a pleasure to have Mr. Xing Xiao, the CEO of Zhongting, as a guest of our magazine and to be interviewed by us. Your story is now regarded as a legend, and everyone is curious as to what you have gone through in the short span of 6 months. How did you manage to make a company that no one is familiar with soar in such a short time? Can you share with us what you've been through in the past 6 months?" Xing Xiao smiled at the question and answered, "Actually, it was my father-in-law who proposed Zhongting. He asked me if I was interested in developing into a military enterprise, and we did it without hesitation. In the last 6 months, I wasn't living a dispirited life like everyone thinks I am. I've been busy looking at products, meeting clients, and running into the headache-inducing problems that most managers would face. As for Zhongting's meteoric rise, I think it's because of the timing. It's because the domestic market is still very empty, and my father-in-law has a unique vision. He saw the business opportunity, so Zhongting has been growing and developing under very little pressure." Xing Xiao kept mentioning Shen Jianchuan, but there was only one reason. The establishment of Zhongting had nothing to do with Huang Yao or the Xing family, because Shen Jianchuan was the one who proposed it from start to finish. "Then, did your father-in-law or the Shen family participate in Zhongting's development?" "The Shen family had always encouraged me when the rumors about me were spreading, shielding me from the storm, so that I would not have to worry about anything and could expand my business. I'm very grateful to everyone in the Shen family." Chapter 438. Freedom. Xing Xiao answered at once, before explaining. "Huang Yao is a family business, and everyone in the Xing family works there. I was young and inexperienced back then, far less mature than I am now, which is why I have many conflicts with my family. I don't like it when others control my life, and my family might believe that I have the responsibility and obligation to take care of Huang Yao. But I don't believe it, which is why I left the Xing family half a year ago. Even now, I haven't had any contact with the Xing family. I was the one who left, and today, I will rely on my own 2 feet to stand on this land again." Xing Xiao's intention in answering the question was to emphasize that he had never returned to the Xing family. "Does that mean you won't return to Huang Yao?" "I've already established Zhongting. Why would I return to Huang Yao? What about the Xing family?" "I'm sorry, that's a digression." The reporter quickly apologized. "I haven't seen any of them over the last 6 months, aside from that day at the business gathering. I think we would all be familiar strangers from now on." The reporter nodded at that. Was Xing Xiao drawing a clear line between himself and Huang Yao? "Well, since I've digressed, I'll ask another question. Everyone I've met before told me that the Crown Prince of Huang Yao is not a person to be trifled with and carries with him danger. But I feel very comfortable with you sitting here today, and I don't feel any danger at all. What prompted you to change so much?" Xing Xiao thought about it, and eventually turned his eyes to the cameraman's back. Of course, he wasn't looking at the camera. Instead, he was looking at Muchichi. I'm going to be a man of 30 soon. I believe that family and responsibility have made me who I am now. Actually, I've secretly noticed that Chief Xing was looking at our cameraman when he answered the question. You probably don't know who's standing behind him. The reporter joked. I heard that Zhongting isn't just producing military supplies, but is also developing into weapons. Is that the direction of Zhongting's future? In the future, Zhongting will invest more money and manpower in the research and development department. In the future, Zhongting will be involved in more industries. I hope that everyone can continue to support us. I can tell that Zhongting is really ambitious. If that's the case, I shall risk universal condemnation and ask a question that no one else would dare to ask, because we know that your relationship with Miss Muchichi is being watched by many. She was once known as the young bride of the Xing family. I wonder if you have any plans or important decisions now. You insisted on coming for the interview. What else can I say? Xing Xiao's words were full of disdain, but everyone present could tell that he was clearly showing off his affection. Moreover, he was the one who had asked the little thing to come over, okay? She also said that when the exclusive magazine comes out, she will buy 100 copies. Your magazine can make more money. Is that so? Thank you very much, Miss Muchichi. The reporter promptly laughed. As for their relationship, the reporters did not ask too much. Although their relationship had always been open to the public, the details of their interaction still needed to be kept a mystery. And in today's interview, Xing Xiao answered every question about the Shen family and the Xing family, as well as other sensitive gossips. Especially when it came to the Xing family's ugly attempt to get a share of the pie, Xing Xiao's main purpose in accepting the interview was to tell everyone that he had left the Xing family a long time ago, and had no contact with them over the last 6 months. From now on, he did not want to have any further contact, and only hoped that the Xing family would play their part as the most familiar strangers. There was no telling how the Xing family would be slapped in the face after the interview. After the interview was over, the reporter shook Muchichi's hand. Miss Mu, I really envy you for having President Xing who loves you so much. Still, don't you think you're losing out by having his name tattooed on your ear and not getting any reaction from him? Muchichi turned to look at Xing Xiao, and pointed at her collarbone. He's tattooed it here. I see. The reporter sighed. And you will find your Mr. Right. I don't have a Mr. Right, but I did have a son. Let's just make do. The reporter laughed, and left Zhongting with the people from the magazine. That was when Xing Xiao put an arm around Muchichi's waist and told her, Did you know that the way you looked at me just now was exactly the same as when you had a crush on me? You can't wait to devour me. Did I? Muchichi asked, covering her face. Everyone saw it. Are you still denying it? Can't help it. Who asked you to be so handsome? Muchichi retorted. Since I've watched your interview, I should go home and pack my things. I'm leaving later. Xing Xiao hugged his little one tightly at that. Safety. I'll say it again. Nothing is more important than your safety. Got it. Even if he could not bear to let go, his little one would eventually grow up, and it was something he could not control. Sometimes, he would miss the timid Muchichi of old, because the little one would listen to everything he said, but she did not have the soul she had now. Su Che had followed Xing Xiao's orders and found out what Lin Mu and had asked him to do, and Xing Xiao directly sent the information to Lin Mu and so that the man would not disturb his little one. When Lin Mu and saw the girl's information, he immediately understood that she was indeed the actress that old Master Lin had hired. That was why she had been pestering him the moment she arrived at school, saying that she liked him and trying to disturb his mind. At that thought, Lin moved and put away the information and prepared to welcome his little pepper when school was over. Lu Qianqian was punctual. She brought Lin Mu, Anne's favorite snacks, to the police academy, and waited quietly at the gates after registering. Lin Mu and saw Lu Qianqian's figure from afar, and was naturally elated. Little Pepper. Lu Qianqian rose to her feet and glared at Lin Mu and, "Don't call me such a vulgar name outside." Both of them laughed at that, and Lin Mu and led Lu Qianqian to the academy's canteen. "Try the food here." "Hey, I'm the young lady of the Lu family. Are you going to let me eat plain food? I don't have the money to treat you to fancy food now." Chapter 439. In fact, Lin Mu knew very well that Lu Qianqian did not have the pampered air of a rich young lady, and he was just saying it casually. The two of them sat in the cafeteria, eating and chatting. At this time, Lin Mu Anne's roommates heard the commotion and came over. "Is that little sister-in-law? Really? Is she that pretty? No wonder you miss her so much. Why didn't you introduce her when she's here?" The others scrambled to sit beside them and cause trouble, but Lu Qianqian did not have the chance to explain before Lin Mu and smiled and brushed it off. "Sister-in-law, you should walk around the school more. Otherwise, people wouldn't know that our handsome Lin is already taken, and those rotten suitors would just keep coming for him. Isn't he behaving in school?" Lu Qianqian simply played along with them and continued teasing Lin Mu. "Actually, Bro Lin is one of the few honest people I've met. Apart from training every day, the only time he has is to make clay figurines. Those are for you, aren't they?" Lu Qianqian was quiet for a few seconds before nodding. "Look, what a loyal dog. Well, I hope you guys can keep an eye on him from now on. I'll treat you to the snacks here." When the few of them saw that it was all imported food, their gluttonous faces immediately appeared. "Don't worry, little sister-in-law. Just leave it to us. Aren't you the one who bought it for me?" Lin Mu could not help grumbling. It was not easy for little Pepper to buy it for him, and these people were so poor and hungry. What a waste of good food. Bro Lin, sister-in-law, is building a good foundation. You wouldn't understand. Lin Mu slapped the man's head at that. "I'll give little Pepper some after lunch. You guys save some for me. Don't split it all." The happiest time in life was indeed in the campus of one's youth. Now that Lu Qianqian was training every day, it had been a long time since she could relax like this. Just as they were eating and chatting, the girl who was determined to get Lin Mu squeezed in with a tray. "Can I sit?" Sure. But Bro Lin and sister-in-law should go to another table. It's noisy here." Her roommate helped Lin Mu out. "Sister-in-law, you have to come more often. You're so pretty and feminine. We would want to see you often." Lu Qianqian smiled, but studied the girl as well. Lin Mu's fearless personality would be a huge problem for him. Still, Lin Mu could not be sure since he knew how to deal with women. The two of them moved to another table. Then, Lu Qianqian asked, "Is that the girl?" "Little, she made you so flustered that you're doubting life." "I've already checked with the Crown Prince. There's an 80 to 90% chance that it was grandfather who planted them." Lin Mu explained to Lu Qianqian. "I don't want my simple and beautiful police academy life to be spent fighting against the old man. I hate that I'm a Lin now. My grandfather is an all-pervasive monster. Be yourself. You should know that I will never give up on my best friend. No matter what happens, I will share the burden with you." Lu Qianqian comforted him, because she knew that he was feeling very defeated at the moment. "You're right. Be yourself. Don't be swayed by poverty, and don't be subdued by force," Lin Mu said. Idiot, if you need me, just give me a call. If not, you can skip me and look for the Crown Prince or Chi-Chi. You know how awesome the Crown Prince is now. Lin moved and pinched Lu Qianqian's nose and finally smiled. I know what to do. Since that's the case, I'll head back first. There's a gathering at the Lu clan tonight. Lin moved and nodded and got up from the dining table. He took out the broken clay doll from his pocket and said, I'll give it to you. Even though it's not a complete corpse. Still, it was something precious to Lu Qianqian. Alright, you don't have to see me off. My car is outside. Lin moved and waved at Lu Qianqian, who smiled and walked out of the police academy gates. But she did not expect that the girl was waiting for her at the gates. Miss Lu. Lu Qianqian turned and looked at the girl in confusion. I thought you and Lin moved and had already severed ties. I never expected you two to still be in contact. Furthermore, you're doing it so openly. Aren't you afraid that your past will be dug out and make Lin move and lose face? At those words, Lu Qianqian closed the car door she had just opened and asked, Do you know why Lin moved and is still willing to be with me? Because you're easy to push. Isn't that all there is between a man and a woman? I'm relieved if that's what you think. Because you can't snatch Lin Mu and away from me. Lu Qianqian smiled. No matter what rich young lady you are or how impressive your family background is, I can at least be sure that an opponent like you would never have the ability to change Lin Mu then. Aren't you afraid that Lin Mu, Anne's grandfather, would hear that? Whether he would or not, he doesn't like me. So why should I pretend to be a hypocrite? As for you, don't you know that Lin Mu and has already thoroughly investigated your background? With those words, Lu Qianqian smiled mockingly and opened the car door again. Old Lin was certainly disgusting, but as long as Lin Mu Anne's will was strong enough, no one could change him. As for this girl, how good could she be when she used someone else's privacy to attack others? Still, she was the same as old Lin. Lu Qianqian believed that Lin Mu and would not be tempted, or at least not by a girl like this. But she did not know that this was the girl's trick. At first, when she approached Lin Mu, she would show absolute dominance to make him hate her. Then, she would slowly change and awaken, making him think that she had really come to her senses. And there would definitely be many chances for her to interact with Lu Qianqian. With that, she would definitely find a chance to slander Lu Qianqian and drive a wedge between them. Men are easy to break. If you don't believe me, just wait and see. Just wait and see. At night, at the Xing family's home. At the moment, the Xing family was still unaware that Xing Xiao had ended his interview with the magazine and officially drew a line with the Xing family. It was just that old Xing was clearly spending more time away from home than before. Because there were more people asking him out. With a good grandson like Xing Xiao again, the future of the Xing family would only be brighter. Chapter 440. Late at night, it was raining in the mountains. Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan were staying in a simple room, since that was the only condition in the mountains. Feng Shanshan did not like the humidity, and so tugged at Mu Qiqi. Aren't you concerned about what old Xing wants to do to you? I don't want to, because he won't succeed no matter what he wants to do. Mu Qiqi covered her head, wanting to rest well. She was already tired after a 4-hour journey to the mountains. However, before they could turn off the lights, they heard someone shouting, "Another body found. Forensics team, let's go take a look." It was the border between Jianchuan and another city, which was why they were working together. Mu Qiqi and Lin Sanju promptly got up from the bed. The police had already assembled outside the door, and were holding black umbrellas as they headed towards the place where the body was found. It was in a cave in the mountains, and the corpse was still fresh. It must have died just before nightfall, since there were only a few livor mortis spots. The forensics team was about to move for a further autopsy, but the townsfolk came to stop them. Don't touch the corpse. It's too uncanny, or you'd provoke something evil. The professor had seen his fair share of close-minded cases after years of handling cases, and so had the forensics team, and Muchichi stepped back so that the police could appease the townsfolk. Sure enough, the people in the police force were all experienced. They coaxed and tricked the man from the town away. Do you guys smell something special? It's very pungent. Muchichi asked them, standing in front of the cave. The professor and the others promptly turned to the corpse, only to find that the body, which had been whole just a moment ago, was slowly turning into bones. Muchichi looked up to find that something was dripping from the mouth of the cave. The professor stopped them and said, "It's sulfuric acid. That's why these corpses are demonized. Sulfuric acid is man-made. Why would it drip down?" Everyone looked at each other. They could only examine the corpse and collect evidence for further study. Looks like we won't be able to rest tonight. When Xing Xiao returned to his bedroom after taking care of business, he found that his little one was not home today. The spacious room was empty. Normally, he wouldn't feel that it was quiet, but because that little thing wasn't around, he was worried about her. What was the point of fighting? Wasn't it all because of his little one? There was no telling if his little one was safe in the heavy rain. The victim is a female between 20 and 22 years old, 162 centimeters tall, and 45 kilograms. Time of death is between 6 and 7 at night. There are no obvious contusions, no violation, no strangulation marks around her neck, no signs of drowning. Now we have to investigate natural or poisoning. The police are investigating the family situation. No, it's weird to wear a red dress in the middle of the night. The police officer felt a chill run down his spine. Also, after being corroded by the sulfuric acid, half of his face has turned into bones. He does look like a ghost from the movies. Tonight, we'll be spending the night with this corpse. If she really turns into a malicious spirit, none of you will be able to escape. The professor did not listen to their nonsense. Instead, he looked at Muchichi and Feng Shanshan and asked, "What do you think?" "I think we can find out if there are any taboos or legends among the residents nearby. I think the culture might help us find some clues," Muchichi said. The fact that the victim had come out in a red dress in the middle of the night, and that man from the town had shouted not to touch the corpse made Muchichi believe that it was all crucial information. "I don't know if you noticed on the way here, but there are very few women here." Feng Shanshan also raised her doubts. "Before we came, 2 of them died. Including the 3 now, they are all young women." The professor nodded. "All right, I got it. You 2 should get some rest. You still have work tomorrow." Muchichi and Feng Shanshan shared a look and returned to their own rooms. Even so, the corpse was in the yard, and it must be said that the mere thought of a red dress gave them goosebumps. Both of them lay back on the bed, but could not fall asleep no matter what. Muchichi rolled over and whipped out her phone. She wanted to send Xing Xiao a message, but he should be asleep at this hour. But for some strange reason, Muchichi pressed the send button when she was about to delete the message. Still, there was only Xing Xiao's name in the message. Muchichi sighed. She wanted to delete the message, but Xing Xiao replied instantly. "What? Why aren't you sleeping, you filthy thing? I'm doing an autopsy here. Can you tell me why you're still awake at this hour? I'm not used to having my arms empty, it's too quiet when I can't hear you snoring." "You're the one who snores," Muchichi retorted, unconvinced. "The corpse we found tonight was right next door, wearing a red dress. I'm a little scared." "Why aren't you scared when you're at home?" Because you're not by my side, Muchichi answered seriously. It's only when I'm out that I know the reason I feel safe and brave is because you're by my side. Silly thing, I'll get up to handle business and put it on speakerphone. You won't be scared when you hear my voice. No, no. It's already so late. I'll feel bad if you stay up late. Muchichi quickly stopped him. However, Xing Xiao had already called her. Muchichi took out her earphones from her bag and put them on. Then, she really heard his voice. Do you know how much you can't leave me now? Are you going to leave me on your own again? I still have to if there's a murder. I won't care if you're scared in the future. Humph. Who would believe that? That night, Muchichi did not know when she fell asleep. All she knew was that hearing Xing Xiao's voice made her feel that he was by her side. That sense of security was such that she would not be afraid even if the sky fell down, and whatever monster or demon would not be able to get close to her. The next morning, Muchichi was woken up by a commotion. The girl's parents had rushed over after the rain stopped and demanded to take their daughter's body away, not allowing the forensic doctor to do an autopsy. However, the cause of death had yet to be determined, and the police could not rule out suicide or homicide. So, they argued with the girl's parents. The old couple was crying and throwing a tantrum, almost crashing into a rock on the road. The police could not do their job at all. Chapter 441. I'll try. Muchichi nodded and walked to the old couple. Then, she told the officers, don't force them. Of course they would feel sorry for their daughter. The professor was full of praise for Muchichi at that. That child is smart. She knows to put herself on the opposing side to lower their guard. The officers left and did not continue arguing with the old couple. Muchichi walked up and sat beside the old woman. Get up, auntie. Let's sit down and talk. The old couple cried their hearts out before they got up and sat down on the bench. Auntie, your daughter is so beautiful. She looks like you when you were young, doesn't she? The old woman could not hold back her tears at the mention of her daughter. What's the use of being beautiful? Young lady, please persuade those youngsters not to touch my daughter's body. We won't do an autopsy. Auntie, then, do you know how your daughter passed away? The old woman was at a loss and shook her head. She won't come back no matter how she died. Auntie, do you know? My sister fed her the wrong medicine and killed her. But everyone slandered me, saying that I killed her, and I was chased out of the house and almost died outside. That is why I studied forensics. A person should die with dignity and seek justice for her. If she died without a cause, she would not be happy in the afterlife. What would you do if she blames you when the time comes? The old woman's tears flowed even more at that. That is why I hope that you would allow us to perform an autopsy. That is the only way to find the culprit and seek justice for your daughter, while preventing new murders. I know you want your daughter to die with dignity. We can promise you that after we investigate the cause of the incident, we will send her off so that she can be buried with dignity. That way, those who spread the rumors will have nothing to say. The old woman wiped her tears and finally nodded. I dreamed of her last night. She told me that she was in pain. Then, Auntie, could you tell me what was wrong with your daughter yesterday? The woman thought about it and answered, the child's father and I live in another town, and we only see the child a few times a month. After she dropped out of school, she started a small business here, which is why we don't know what happened to her. Does your daughter have a boyfriend? We don't know, but our daughter always comes home alone. Does she like to wear red clothes? The middle-aged woman shook her head. I don't like it. She's usually very plain and doesn't like to dress up. Auntie, you can rest here. We'll tell you the results after we're done with the examination, okay? Muchichi spoke sincerely and softly, which was why the old couple felt that their daughter was still by their side and could not bear to refuse her. Muchichi gestured for the police to take over and walked to the professor's side. Professor, hurry up. The old couple's emotions are unstable. We can't rule out the possibility of them changing their minds. They immediately entered the temporary morgue and prepared to start the autopsy. However, at that moment, many people from the town arrived and interfered with the forensics team's work. You can't simply touch the woman's body. You'll provoke something evil and bring disaster to us. If you keep touching the woman, we'll surround this place and not let you out. None of you are leaving. The first wave had yet to subside when another one arose. Look at you. You're the daughter of a rich family and the CEO's woman. Why would you come to a place like this and look so miserable? Feng Shanshan laughed. Is human life that funny in your eyes? Why so serious? It's just a joke because the atmosphere is too tense. Muchichi said nothing, and the atmosphere outside was frozen. I'm afraid we'll have to ask for help, and it's not something that can be solved in 2 or 3 days. You two have classes tomorrow, so get ready to go back in the afternoon. The professor said to Muchichi and Feng Shanshan. However, with the current situation, it might be difficult for you to get out. It shouldn't be that difficult to send 2 people away, right? Professor, you really don't need us to stay. You're just an intern, here to observe. You won't be of much use if you stay. Moreover, it's more important for you to go back to class and abide by school rules. Another team of forensics is coming, and we have enough people. You two go, the professor said without hesitation. There must be some story between the people of this town and women. It's dangerous for you to stay. The professor said the word dangerous. Muchichi immediately understood the professor's intention. Let's pack up and leave soon. Xiao-Qi, call your CEO and ask him to send someone to pick you up. We'll be more at ease if there's an escort. Muchichi looked at the men outside and nodded. She would not be pretentious at a time like this. She would make the call if she had to. However, Xing Xiao was in a meeting. When he saw the call from Muchichi, he quickly said, "Pause for 5 minutes. Xiao Xiao, I've run into some trouble here. Ask Su Che to send someone to pick us up." What kind of trouble? The townsfolk have surrounded the yard where we forensics are. We can't get out now, so we might need some help. Wait. After saying that, Xing Xiao hung up the phone and returned to the conference room. We won't be having a meeting today. We'll continue tomorrow. What happened, CEO? Su Che quickly came up to him. Get 10 or so skilled people to come with me to pick up Qi. That little one said not to go to dangerous places. She's gone too far now. Xing Xiao muttered, but he was more worried than he was complaining. No wonder he did not even have a meeting and wanted to kill his way there. On the other hand, Gu Xiling had gone to a gathering of her friends. She could not help feeling a little emotional when she saw that all her old acquaintances had children. Moreover, everyone knew that she was married, and she could only tell them that she was not planning to get pregnant yet. She wanted to give Xingkai more time, because many people only had children after a few years. However, she had a feeling that it was not as simple as not being fated to conceive after having so much fun every night. The doubts in her heart grew heavier. She wanted to find a chance to get Xingkai for a checkup, but she knew very well that if the matter was exposed, Xingkai's dignity as a man would be gone. Chapter 442. Muchichi and Feng Shanshan had already packed their things, while the police were still negotiating with the townspeople. There was no telling why they would have such a huge reaction to dissecting a corpse. They're just being incited. The culprit is the one who doesn't want us to dissect the corpse. Muchichi felt bad watching the people outside. The corpse could not be moved and the true cause of death was unknown, delaying the police's search for the culprit. It was fine if they were not allowed to dissect the corpse, but the police were not allowed to move around. What were these people trying to do? We're going to have to waste some time with them at this rate. We'd be more at ease if you leave earlier. Actually, Professor, I have an idea, Muchichi said. Xiao Xiao and the others could come and help us create some chaos, and we could use the chance to transport the corpse back to Jianchuan and dissect it in the forensics lab. After all, the victim's family has already agreed. What do you think? The professor thought about it and nodded. Maybe that's a good idea. But would the car carry the corpse when he comes to pick you up? Actually, I told him that we're in trouble, which is why he brought around a dozen people, and all of them are quite skilled. Oh. The professor couldn't help chuckling. A man like that dotes on you. That's why we definitely can't fight them, but we could create some chaos. That's easy since we have an extra car. Or we could call an ambulance. Us two women could pretend to be sick to divert attention. What a smart brain. But since the ambulance is coming, we can send the body directly to the hospital. That way, we won't waste time going to Jianchuan. I'll discuss with the police team and come up with a more detailed plan. Everyone can work together. It's better than wasting time here. Muchichi nodded and shared a look with Feng Shanshan. There was a strange atmosphere in the town, whether it was the deceased girls or the townspeople. Their actions were truly puzzling. Could there really be some traditional taboo? The professor went out for a while, and when he returned, he had already made detailed arrangements. We've already contacted the nearby hospital for backup. Their ambulance will be waiting for your CEO's car on the road. Little Seven, your idea is very good. We don't have to fight to the death with them here. Finding the clues is the most important thing. Shan has already gone to prepare. Later, the body will be moved on a stretcher. She will dress up in a police uniform and leave with the ambulance. It was just that many people stuck to the rules when handling cases and never thought of being flexible. This little thing had a reliable brain. 3 anxious hours passed. Xing Xiao's black car and his entourage numbered 5. Of course, there was also an ambulance at the end. The road was slippery in the rainy day. When a CEO like him rushed into the mountains, even the most distinguished person would be a little embarrassed. But this was Su Che's car, and his driving skills made Xing Xiao look at him in praise. When the men in the town saw that there were outsiders entering the courtyard, they immediately gathered together with their weapons in their hands. However, when Su Che brought the group of bodyguards in black suits out of the car, the scene was quite spectacular. That group of people was a little scared. The police did not fight with the masses because of discipline. But the people in the public did not have to follow such rules. Xing Xiao was walking at the front. When he saw the little one standing in the courtyard, he wanted to go straight to her, but was stopped by the men in the town. "What are you doing here?" Xing Xiao said nothing, and simply glanced at Su Che behind him. Understanding Xing Xiao's meaning, Su Che took a step forward, snatched the stick from the man's hand and broke it in half with his bare hands. The man was stunned by Su Che's skill. He could not help taking 2 steps back. "If you dare, I'll sue you for violence. We're not the police, and we have money. We'll just have to pay some compensation if we cripple you. Which hand do you want to break? Tell me now." Su Che said as he took out his wallet and took out some cash. "If you're not the police, what are you doing here?" Su Che pushed the man away, and the others naturally did not dare to act rashly. Without being stopped, Xing Xiao walked up to Mu Qiqi and pulled her into his arms. I'll deal with you when we get back. There's someone in the house who's not feeling well. Let the ambulance come and pick him up. Mu Qiqi said, pointing inside the house. Although the men were wary, they were not educated enough to think in such a roundabout way. Soon, the ambulance arrived, and 2 nurses got out of the car, carrying a stretcher. Then, they came out of the house quickly, putting the person and the stretcher into the ambulance and closing the door. The police shared a look with Mu Qiqi, signaling that everything was in order. That was when Mu Qiqi looked up at Xing Xiao. Let's go home. There were a dozen bodyguards in black, and each of them looked extraordinarily heroic. They were probably as skilled as the man who broke the stick with his bare hands. The men in the town did not dare to offend them, and could only watch as they left the courtyard. As long as the corpse was not damaged, why should they care? Little did they know that the corpse was already in the ambulance. Xiao Xiao, don't you know that you're a hero in the police force now? Xing Xiao did not listen to her flattery at all, and simply pinned her on his thighs, giving her a good spanking. All I see is you being surrounded by a group of men, holding sticks that could break your head at any time. I've already been obedient enough to call you. Mu Qiqi's tears were welling in her eyes. You don't know how worried I was when you weren't here, but now that you're here, I feel at ease. I'll deal with you tonight. After all, Su Che was driving, and it was a flying car. To prevent Mu Qiqi from vomiting, Xing Xiao held her upright. Soon, they arrived at a small town nearby, and the professor came out of the ambulance with Feng Shanshan. That's enough. You should go back to Jianchuan. The police will come to support me, and I must go to the hospital to dissect the corpse now. Professor, let us know as soon as possible. Feng Shanshan was not in the same car as Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao. She was Xing Xiao's bodyguard. After a few hours, Mama Xing saw Mu Qiqi in a mess when they reached home. Qiqi, where did you and Xing Xiao come from? Chapter 443. I see. Hurry up and take a shower. We'll be waiting for dinner. Mu Qiqi did not dare to provoke the black-faced monster behind her, so she ran upstairs. A moment later, Xing Xiao came in too. He picked Mu Qiqi up and threw her into the bathroom. It's only a 3-4 hour drive today. I won't be able to make it if it's too far next time. What are you going to do? Mu Qiqi hugged Xing Xiao and took deep breaths. It was as if that was the only way she could feel that she was not dreaming. She had slept so close to the red-dressed woman's corpse yesterday. Even now, it was still very horrifying. In order to protect myself, I can do anything. Believe me. Looking at her little face, there were dark circles under her eyes. She must not have slept well in the mountains for the past 2 days. Thinking of this, Xing Xiao did not continue to reprimand her. He hugged the little one and happily took a bath. Then, he went downstairs to eat in high spirits. However, just as Mu Qiqi picked up her bowl and chopsticks, the professor called. The cause of death has been found. It's zinc phosphide poisoning. The victim's face was destroyed by sulfuric acid, so we could not see any signs. It's different from the other 2 red-dressed women's deaths. It's not the same killer. Things seem to be getting more complicated. The professor would probably be staying there for half a month. When Mu Qiqi finished the call and saw Xing Xiao's stern expression, she put down her phone and started eating seriously. By the way, when will the interview be aired? When will the magazine be released? If I'm not mistaken, it should be the day after tomorrow. The electronic magazine will be released at the same time, Xing Xiao said. Doesn't that mean you can slap the Xing family in the face? Xing Xiao turned and glared at her. Don't talk nonsense. I'm not going to talk to you. Just eat. The man saw through her again. Muchichi could not help but snicker. She felt sweet inside. Thanks to you, I have to work overtime tonight. I'll go with you. Xing Xiao did not believe her. When did she not curl up on his body and sleep like a koala? Feng Shanshan also returned home to the house that she had just rented out. She was also afraid of the female corpse, but she had no choice. Thinking that she was back in Jianchuan and could still find her friends, her mood did not seem that heavy. While she envied everything Muchichi had, her pride would not allow her to do anything that would destroy the relationship between Muchichi and Xing Xiao. She knew very well that she could not destroy it. Only the Xing family would overestimate themselves. After all, Grandpa Xing's calls were even more frequent than before. He was frantically trying to find out about Muchichi and Xing Xiao, and how Xing Xiao would react. Even so, apart from having the chance to be with Muchichi, did she have the ability to get close to Xing Xiao? That was an almost impossible task. Like a vampire, the Xing family kept sucking Xing Xiao's blood. In just a few days, Huang Yao had used Zhongting to negotiate many contracts that they could not get in the past. The whole family was undoubtedly a drama queen. Still, Feng Shanshan could not understand why Xing Xiao did not retaliate. Of course, she could not ask Muchichi either, and would simply answer whatever old Xing asked, since that was all she knew anyway. News that the Xing family and Xing Xiao were reconciling spread like wildfire. After all, Xing Xiao did not come out to refute it, and did that mean that he was tacitly agreeing to the Xing family's actions? Because of that, old Xing had more opportunities to attend public events, often appearing in front of the entertainment public. Such was the wonder that Xing Xiao could bring to him, Xing Kai could not help feeling displeased over that. Since the old man had handed Huang Yao to him, he should not be using Zhongting's name every day to reminisce and eat with others. Over the last 6 months, he had been conscientious in Huang Yao, bringing it to a whole new level. However, the old man's attitude changed once Zhongting came out. Because of that, Xing Kai drank a little at a social event, and even needed someone's help when he returned home. When Gu Xiling saw how delirious Xing Kai was, she suddenly came up with an idea. Xing Kai would not remember anything when he was drunk, and she would use those few times to collect samples for tests, which she would then send to the hospital for tests. They could have exposed it directly, but Xing Kai was already sensitive and paranoid in the last few days, and he would definitely lose his mind if they talked about issues related to a man's dignity. That was why it was safer to do it in secret. Xing Kai would not know what his wife had done when he was drunk. Test results. In fact, there was a ready-made one in his office desk. When third brother heard about Xing Kai's hangover last night, he suddenly felt that the man was both hateful and pitiful. During breakfast, old Xing scolded Xing Kai, "I didn't hand the great Huang Yao to you so that you could drink. You're the great CEO of Huang Yao. How improper." Xing Kai was not fully sober, and so did not take the old man's words to heart. Third brother, on the other hand, argued with the old man, "You used to treasure second brother before eighth brother rose to power, grandfather. How could you turn against him so quickly? Eighth brother didn't even agree to let you ride on his coattails, and you're already slapping your own face. Third brother, you're always feeling indignant over this and that. You should at least show some results so that grandfather would see you differently. I just want to tell you that eighth brother has changed a lot over the last 6 months. If you think that he's still the same as before, going against you for everything, then you're wrong. The reason why he's not making a sound now is definitely because he's planning a counterattack. Don't think that he's a docile cat just because he's not roaring at you. No matter what he does, I'm his grandfather. That's a fact that no one can change. Before, Xing Kai had assumed that Gu Xiling had brought it up so that the old man would not hurt his health. Now, however, the old man was completely treating himself as the CEO of Enchanting. Unlike them, eighth brother was not at the mercy of the old man. I'm meeting Chairman Bai for tea today. Go do whatever you need to do. Third brother chuckled mockingly, feeling that the old man was humiliating himself. Third brother, there are times when I don't understand whether you're closer to eighth brother or your family. Could you tell me what you think? Xing Kai asked third brother. I'm not eating. Do whatever you want. Third brother did not want to talk to the Xing family. After all, the Xing family would not listen to anything he had to say. Well, they could only wait for eighth brother's revenge. Chapter 444. In fact, Enchanting's secretarial office had also received a lot of calls, but Xing Xiao had instructed them not to respond to any of them. Let the old man show off for a few more days. On the other hand, it had been a few days since Lin Mu'an and Lu Qianqian met. Initially, Lin Mu'an's campus life had been peaceful. However, someone started spreading rumors that Lin Mu'an's girlfriend was a whore, and rumors about Lu Qianqian started spreading. His roommates were not convinced, and so asked Lin Mu'an, little sister-in-law, did you really get together with someone else and have an abortion? That has nothing to do with you. Lin Mu'an appeared calm. Bro Lin, I think you're a little silly. What kind of girl can't you find in this world? But, no one is little chilly, Lin Mu'an replied calmly. Then aren't you angry that people are spreading rumors about little sister-in-law? If I'm angry, I'm falling into someone's trap. What he had to do was to keep his heart as steady as a rock, unaffected by the outside world. As long as he trusted Little Pepper enough and did not respond to those so-called rumors, those people would get bored sooner or later. Of course, if someone was not used to him, they could challenge him face to face. That left the transfer student upset. She thought that Lin Mu'an would immediately come to her and interrogate her if she was the one who spread the news about Lu Qianqian. Then, she could pretend to admit it and have a big fight with Lin Mu'an. It would be best if she got hurt to liven things up, and someone else would tell Lin Mu'an that he had misunderstood her. It was a good setup, but Lin Mu'an did not play by the rules. Why? Because Lin Mu'an more or less understood such tricks. Come to think of it, the old man would definitely be annoyed if he sent someone to school to watch him, and that was not a long-term plan. That was why the old man must have some other tricks up his sleeve. All he could do was to stay the same. At night, his roommates were lying in bed, asking Lin Mu'an about the story between him and Lu Qianqian. Knowing that they misunderstood Lu Qianqian, Lin Mu'an told them about the Lu Qianqian he knew. After hearing what Brother Lin said, I feel that sister-in-law is great in every way. She's pretty, loyal, and sometimes domineering. She's also kind. Other than being a little blind in the past, she really doesn't have any flaws. If that's the case, I can actually understand why Brother Lin is so hell-bent on sister-in-law. Look, Brother Lin used to be a third-generation celebrity. He gave up everything in his family to protect sister-in-law and lived such a tough life. If this isn't love, what's there to be sad about? As they chatted in the dormitory, his roommates finally understood why Lin Mu'an was so indifferent to the transfer student who had confessed to him. Sometimes, men like to talk with their lower bodies. However, not everyone would be moved by a man like Lin Mu'an. He was neither fast nor slow when it came to relationships. He would not give you any chance to take advantage of him. It would not be easy to drive a wedge between him and Lu Qianqian. What Lin Mu'an did not know was that his roommates had added Lu Qianqian as a friend when they were having lunch in the canteen. Now that they started chatting, things were getting out of hand. Don't worry, sister-in-law. Brother Lin's feelings for you are more real than the pearls in the sea. Lu Qianqian was bewildered. Naturally, she ignored Lin Mu Han's lackey. After returning from the mountains, Mu Qiqi and Feng Shanshan did not interfere with the case of the red-dressed corpse. The police were still expanding the scope of their investigation. Although the 3 murder cases looked similar, the way the 3 girls died was different, which did not match the killer's style of consecutive crimes. That was why they had to solve the cases separately. Meanwhile, the professor learned some taboos about the town from the parents of the victims. It was said that in that town, all the girls who had a relationship with a man before they were married would wear red clothes and then die a violent death. After these girls died, no one was allowed to touch them. They had to be buried on the spot. Otherwise, evil spirits would be awakened, and those who touched them would be killed. In serious cases, it could even bring misfortune to the entire town. What kind of rumor is that? It's not attractive at all. Mu Qiqi could not help laughing at the professor's words. Qiqi, take a look at the newspaper I sent you. Mu Qiqi stopped smiling and opened the email the professor had sent her. It turned out that there had been several cases like this in the town, where women died wearing red, some years ago, some decades ago. It was no wonder there were so few girls in the town. These are all copycat crimes, riding on the ride of the rumor. Either way, the town is full of mysteries. If that was the case, the police would have their hands full. The next day, Old Xing had an appointment with a business partner to go for a stroll at the racecourse. He had taken a liking to several fine horses. Third brother felt as if the old man's life was floating, and he was completely unsure of where he was going. At 10 in the morning, the magazine's interview with Xing Xiao was broadcasted on their special column. It was also because of the interview that everyone understood Xing Xiao's real attitude towards Huang Yao. Huang Yao and Xing Xiao's attitude has been ambiguous lately, and I thought that Xing Xiao was really going back to the Xing family. But it turns out that Xing Xiao hasn't seen any of them over the last 6 months. So the real founder of Zhongting is the Shen family. Why does Huang Yao make it seem as if Zhongting rose because of them? Isn't Huang Yao a little too shameless? They're completely putting gold on their faces. Look at Xing Xiao's answer. He only wants to be the closest of strangers to the Xing family. He clearly doesn't want to return to Huang Yao. Why is Huang Yao so agitated? Why is it so agitated? The Xing family simply did not expect that Xing Xiao would directly accept an interview from the magazine to clarify his relationship with Huang Yao. That was why the Xing family had yet to receive news of the interview when it was posted. While the people involved did not know, the audience was already laughing at the family. Why were they so ambiguous? Wasn't it because Zhongting was rising, and the Xing family wanted to freeload? Or perhaps, they wanted to snatch Zhongting directly from Xing Xiao's hands. Chapter 445. Would the old man be in the mood to watch a video now? That was why he would not know that all of Jianchuan was now talking about Huang Yao and the Xing family. Chairman Bai, who was at the equestrian field with him, had also received the news. However, given old Xing's current status, it was not appropriate to expose him, and so he greeted him with a smile. Still, the partnership they were about to discuss would have to be postponed for now, and they would have to be given time to figure out what was going on. Old Xing was completely unaware of the huge reaction from the outside world, and was simply puzzled because Chairman Bai had asked him before he left, "Old Xing, did you say that Xing Xiao returned to the Xing family last month? That kid has definitely changed now." Was that not a tacit admission? Chairman Bai didn't say anything. He just smiled meaningfully. Old Xing could not help being puzzled at that, and only saw the video sixth brother had sent him on his way home. Not only did Xing Xiao cut himself off from the Xing family and declare that he had not seen any of them over the last 6 months, he had also given all credit to the Shin family and had nothing to do with the Xing family. Most importantly, Xing Xiao had completely drawn a line between himself and Huang Yao. The old man could not help shaking all over. No wonder Chairman Bai had asked him that question just now. Old Xing's old face was probably lost all over the world now. That was why old Xing's face was red in embarrassment after he finished watching the video. "Are you all right, Chairman?" the driver quickly asked when he saw that. "Drive your car," old Xing retorted angrily. Xing Xiao was not giving the Xing family any face at all. What an interesting wolf to raise. In fact, it was not just the old man who was embarrassed. Everyone in the Xing family felt the same. Before, Huang Yao had played the ambiguous card with the outside world, with everyone smiling tacitly as if the relationship between the Xing family and Xing Xiao was slowly mending. And now, the entire world knew about Xing Zhao's exclusive interview, and the Xing family was shamelessly leeching off his popularity. Was that embarrassing? How embarrassing! There was nothing more shameful than this. Soon, old Xing returned home, and Xing Kai came to greet him. "Grandfather." "All right, I know what happened," old Xing said, a little embarrassed and angry. "I really didn't expect Xing Xiao to be so cold-blooded and heartless. He didn't even give Huang Yao any face." Sitting in the living room and watching television, third brother snickered inwardly. He had said it before, but this family did not believe him. Now that Xing Xiao had struck back with such a resounding slap, could the Xing family do anything about it? Now, all of them were so embarrassed that they wished they could find a hole to hide in. "Do you believe me?" Hearing third brother's question, Xing Kai turned to him and asked, "Did you already know about this? Did you know that eighth brother would do this?" When third brother heard that, he knew that Xing Xiao was going to accuse him again. He quickly raised his hands. "I swear to God, I don't know anything. I haven't left the house since I was suspended. You can check my phone records and see if I talked to eighth brother. Don't accuse me of everything. I've told you before that eighth brother has changed a lot, and he wouldn't fight you head-on now. Haven't you all understood the $6.5 billion trick? He's mature and steady now, and wouldn't trouble you on the surface. But behind the scenes, you wouldn't even know how you died. Well, according to you, how should we redeem Huang Yao's lost reputation? Huang Yao has come this far, with the Gu family and the Su family behind. Does grandfather still need to find a powerful backer? As the largest diamond empire in the country, does Huang Yao need to rely on others now? You were the ones who were not confident and let eighth brother lead you by the nose. Who else can you blame? Now, there's no way to redeem Huang Yao's lost reputation. This is the lesson you all deserve. If you can't take it and keep bothering eighth brother, just you wait. Once eighth brother is angered, he would turn against Huang Yao. With his background now, it would be too easy for him to make things difficult for Huang Yao. With a new company like him, old Xing did not think that Xing Xiao could hurt Huang Yao. How could he set up a research department and develop weapons? Do you think that's something a businessman could do? I'm not sure who eighth brother knows, but I do know that he's close with Secretary He of the military. What's more, he's just a new company. Isn't Grandpa also rushing to get involved with him? After all, grandfather knows very well that eighth brother is terrifying because of his ability. That was something the Xing family had to admit even if they were unwilling. Old Xing and Xing Kai would never accept that fact, which was why third brother felt that he was wasting his breath. The old man said nothing else, and quietly returned to his study. If he let Xing Xiao go just like that, he wouldn't be able to rest in peace even if he died. What could he do to completely conquer eighth brother? Zhongting is declaring to the world that they have nothing to do with Huang Yao. Look at how Huang Yao has behaved before. It's such a slap in the face. By the way, Xing Xiao was completely forced away by Chairman Xing's forcefulness. That old man is so controlling. I'm afraid I'd go crazy if anyone dictates what I have to do or who I have to marry. It's worse than going to jail. Let's see if the people of Huang Yao would go around flirting in the future. That night, everyone in the Xing family had a tacit understanding among themselves. It was too embarrassing. When Xing Kai returned to his room, he told Gu Xiling, eighth brother has really crossed the line this time. He didn't even leave Huang Yao any face. He shouldn't be so heartless to the family that gave birth to him and raised him even if he has to shed all pretense. It's already happened. You don't have to be so angry. Gu Xiling comforted him. You're the great CEO of Huang Yao. How could you be so petty? Xing Kai sighed and closed his eyes. I feel like I'm always living under eighth brother's shadow. I don't know how to escape his existence. You've done very well over the last 6 months. Gu Xiling advised. Go take a shower. I've already filled the water for you. Xing Kai said nothing else and went straight into the bathroom. When he came out again, Gu Xiling had prepared a glass of red wine. I'll talk to you since you're upset. In that very moment, Xing Kai thought that Gu Xiling was being considerate. However, he would never know that Gu Xiling was only doing it because she wanted to take 3 of his testicles for testing. Chapter 446. It was the same night. The Xing family was filled with laughter and cheers. Huang Yu and Mama Xing would prepare a sumptuous dinner every time they bought something good and share it with the family. Especially when Xing Zhao's exclusive interview was released today, the whole family gathered together to gossip and watch how outsiders humiliate the Xing family. It's so satisfying to hear the comments out there today. It's worth everyone having a drink just for this matter. I'm so disgusted by the Xing family these days. The Xing family raised their glasses, and Huang Yu echoed. Mu Qiqi looked at the 2 elders and could not help saying to Xing Xiao, Mom and second aunt must have been sisters in a past life. You don't like it? Mu Qiqi pursed her lips and smiled. Who could be closer than our 2 families? How could it not be? I just hope that the Xing family would restrain themselves and not do anything that would embarrass everyone. Xing Xiao did not say anything. Mu Qiqi understood why he did not say anything, and so kept quiet and continued eating her food. Actually, it did not matter. If the Xing family wanted to send them off, they could just keep humiliating them. That night, old Xing stayed in his study for the whole night. Worried about the old man's health, 6th brother went in and knocked on the door. The old man could not help sneering. Would he let anything happen to him before he could handle Xing Zhao's matter? Still, he felt that Feng Shanshan was no longer useful as a chess piece. That was why he called Feng Shanshan and asked her to come and settle things. When Feng Shanshan saw Xing Zhao's interview, she thought to herself that she was too naive. How could Xing Xiao not retaliate? Once the video of the interview was released, all of Jianchuan was laughing at the Xing family. As expected of Xing Xiao, that was his style, that was why she expected old Xing to come to her. Soon, Feng Shanshan stood in front of old Xing and saw the check he put on the table. Take the money and leave. But don't let anyone know about this. I believe you're a smart child. Are you not going to deal with Mu Qiqi in the future? Feng Shanshan asked in return. That has nothing to do with you. The old man replied. In fact, the old man looked down on people like Feng Shanshan. However, it was best to control people like her who were paid off. Unfortunately, other than the beginning, Feng Shanshan had never done anything for him seriously. All right then. Chairman Xing, I wish you the best. With that, Feng Shanshan took the check and left Grandpa Xing's study. Still, she ran into Gu Xiling when she left the Xing residence. It's Grandpa's money. Don't you think it's hot to take it? Don't you think you've just cheated an old man's feelings? The chairman took the initiative to look for me, Feng Shanshan clarified. You should have told me earlier that you can't deal with Mu Chichi. You fooled an old man for half a year and earned so much money. Do you think it's worth it? It seemed that Gu Xiling was deliberately making things difficult for her. What? Young madam, do you want my money back? Feng Shanshan waved the check in her hand. I wouldn't go so far as to ask for it back since it's Grandpa who gave it to you. I don't really care about that bit of money, but I just hope that you won't appear in the Xing family in the future. There's always a difference in status between people. Feng Shanshan sneered. Young madam and Mu Chichi, who's also a young lady, are worlds apart. I suddenly understand the Crown Prince's choice back then. What are you trying to say? Young madam may have a delicate body, but she has a Philistine soul. With that, Feng Shanshan took the money and left the living room. As for Gu Xiling, it was one thing that she couldn't gain anything from Mu Chichi, but she was defeated by Feng Shanshan too. After all, Feng Shanshan was proud, and her pride came from her confidence in her own abilities. How could she be trampled by a pretty face like Gu Xiling? Right now, Gu Xiling was completely unaware that she had almost knelt before Feng Shanshan in the future. There was nothing she could do about it now, even if she had to pay for it in the future. Feng Shanshan did not mistreat herself after getting the money, renting a high-class apartment with her friends and investing the rest of the money. She had wanted to use the money to buy Mu Chichi a meal, but she probably wouldn't be willing to come out given Mu Chichi's personality. Still, she was willing to do it if the Xing family wanted her to keep an eye on Mu Chichi in the future. How interesting would that be? 3 days after the incident, the Xing family was mocked for 3 days, and Grandpa Xing did not step out of the house for 3 days. Xing Kai did not want to go to any public events either. Aside from feeling humiliated, he also did not want to see others pointing fingers at him. It was fortunate that Gu Xiling kept encouraging him, drinking and chatting with him every day. Otherwise, he really did not know how he could walk out of Xing Zhao's shadow. However, he didn't know that Gu Xiling had already received his examination report on that aspect at this moment. The doctor told her frankly, "Madam, your husband's condition is due to immune infertility. His current condition doesn't look ideal, which is why it's recommended to get treatment as soon as possible. There might still be hope." Gu Xiling felt as if she had been struck by lightning when she heard that. No wonder she couldn't get pregnant after half a year. But my husband doesn't have much of a problem in that aspect, madam. Not everyone will have those symptoms, but they will become more obvious as they get older. At that moment, Gu Xiling was having a mental breakdown. It was not easy for her to marry such a person. She thought that he was strong and good enough. She did not expect that he could not even give birth to a child. If this matter were to spread, wouldn't she be laughed at too? Gu Xiling became impatient at the thought, because she did not know what to do next. Was she going to fall out with Xing Kai just like that? Even so, it would be a lie to say that she had no feelings for Xing Kai after half a year of love. Thus, Gu Xiling returned home, deliberately avoiding the door of Grandpa Xing's study when she saw that it was open. If Grandpa Xing were to ask about the child again in the future, how would she answer? Was there anything she could think of? Of course, Gu Xiling's brain was not thinking of all those messy ideas yet. Still, she would try anything when she was desperate. Mu Chichi and Feng Shanshan were still paying attention to the matter of the red-dressed female corpse. Still, the matter was very complicated now because it involved many people. Still, from Mu Chichi's point of view, no matter what previous cases there were, they should solve this one as soon as possible before following up. Since it was not a serial murder, they should investigate one by one. Muchichi could not help feeling bitter when she thought of the old couple that day. Although the girl was older than her, she was in the prime of her life. That was why Muchichi wanted to be involved and contribute to solving the case. Chapter 447. Ever since she met the transfer student from the police academy, Lu Qianqian had been visiting Lin Mu, and more often. Sometimes she would buy him snacks, other times she would buy him toys that boys liked, and would often show up in front of the guards. Still, Lin Mu did not know that she was already aware of the rumors in the academy, thanks to the snitches in the dormitory. Still, she was not afraid, although she did not appear in front of the students. She did not want Lin Mu to be criticized. Lin Mu sensed something and asked her, "Did you hear something?" Lu Qianqian sat on the grass and patted her chest. "I'm invulnerable now. What do you think I should be afraid of? I don't want you to get hurt. That's my own doing. It has nothing to do with you. What's wrong with you today? Why are you being so sentimental?" Seeing that Lu Qianqian was about to get angry, Lin moved and picked up the food she had prepared and started wolfing it down. "You came at the right time today. I'm going to the tournament tomorrow morning, and I'm content to see you before that. That transfer student is going too. Who cares about her? I didn't notice." Lin Mu said heartlessly. "Little Pepper, even if I really want a girlfriend, I'm not looking for a girl who has something to do with Grandpa. Why would I care what kind you're looking for? You troublemaker. I'll give you the gold medal when I get it, to offset my debt of lodging at your place. Where are you going?" Lu Qianqian turned to look at Lin Mu. For some reason, her heart felt empty and uneasy at the thought of him going out, and she did not know if something would happen to him. "I'm going to the National Training Center. My flight is tomorrow morning. Be careful. It's almost time. I should go back." But that was when Lin Mu suddenly lay down on the ground and turned to Lu Qianqian. "I've called Uncle and Auntie. You'll be going back later tonight. Watch the stars with me." Lu Qianqian did a double take, and lay down as well. "Don't you have to go back to school?" "I've asked for leave. I'll be back before lights out at 11. Actually, I'm going abroad for a few days too." Lu Qianqian smiled. "That's why I thought of coming to feed you." Lin Mu reached out and flicked Lu Qianqian's forehead hard. Lu Qianqian reflexively grabbed his hand. Both of them were stunned at the same time. Lu Qianqian quickly shook his hand off. "You scumbag, you're taking advantage of me again. I wish I could spend the rest of my life like this. To lie down and watch the stars in peace and warmth." He was afraid that it would be difficult to have such an opportunity in the future. The next day, Lin Mu and the other school representatives boarded a plane and left. It was also the same day that Papa Lu suffered a heart attack and was in critical condition in the hospital. Lu Qianqian and her mother were frightened, but they did not know who to ask for help. Now, Lu Qianqian was waiting for Lu Qianqian to take over the company, but with her current ability, she could not do it alone. Lu Qianqian was at a loss. She wanted to call Lin Mu but Lin Mu was in a match, so she hesitated and held back. So, she called Muchichi. After settling the matter with Duan Xiao she only had Muchichi and Lin Mu as friends. When Muchichi heard about Lu Qianqian's condition, she rushed to the hospital. But when she reached the hospital, Papa Lu had already died. Lu Qianqian went to shake his body as if she had gone mad. But it was useless. Muchichi quickly hugged her and comforted her. "Qianqian, Chi-Chi, you don't know. Papa was fine this morning. He even praised the breakfast I made. Lu Qianqian sat on the floor in grief and cried uncontrollably. I'm unfilial. I let Papa die in shame. As a daughter, I didn't repay him for raising me, Papa. Muchichi knew the pain of bereavement. Wasn't her mother lying motionless on the hospital bed? Qianqian, you have to pull yourself together now. You still have to support your mother. She has lost her husband and support. She is the one who is most worried, don't you know? Lu Qianqian looked at her mother and knelt to her, reaching out to hug her. Mommy, Mama Lu hugged Lu Qianqian, and both mother and daughter sobbed loudly in the resuscitation room. Muchichi did not stop them. She knew that grief was a basic human right. If she did not let them cry in peace, there would be no place to vent the pain in their hearts. Things happened suddenly. But Papa Lu's funeral and the aftermath had to be dealt with. He had left in a hurry and did not even leave any last words. He loved his daughters so much. Muchichi followed Lu Qianqian back to Lu Mansion and kept her company. Meanwhile, Papa Lu's secretary kept calling her, asking how he was doing. There were still a lot of things in the company waiting to be dealt with. My father is gone. Let the vice president take charge of everything in the company. Papa Lu's secretary was quiet at that, and only said to Lu Qianqian after a long while, my condolences, young lady. Look after the company. Don't let anyone cause trouble when my father is not around. Don't worry, young lady, Lu Qianqian said mechanically. Then, she leaned on Muchichi. Chichi, do you know? I really hate myself for not cherishing every bit of time I had with him. Until now, I haven't been able to take a good photo with Dad. I haven't been able to go out with him. I always make him angry. Muchichi hugged Lu Qianqian tightly, but she felt that her arms were not strong enough. Although she did not know if she was doing the right thing, she still sent Lin Mu a message. Uncle Lu has passed away. Qianqian needs you. Lin Mu and promptly jumped off the training ground when he read the message, and quickly booked a flight home. Lin Mu and the competition is coming up. What are you doing? Coach, I'm not competing. My family has passed away. The coach understood his feelings at once. If you leave now, you would be automatically eliminated from the individual competition. Lin Mu and, it's such a good chance. With your ability, coach, I would regret not being able to see my family for the rest of my life. The coach paused, but eventually let him go. You have to think it through. If you give up this time, you won't be allowed to compete in the future. Lin Mu and left casually, and booked the next flight home. Chapter 448. In the evening, the morning hall was set up at the Lu family's residence, and Papa Lu's obituary was sent out. Every friend and family of the Lu family came to pay their respects. Muchichi stood beside Lu Qianqian, watching as she stood beside the morning hall in a black dress and bowed to the guests with Mama Lu. Soon, Xing Xiao arrived at the Lu family's residence, and it was only then that they offered incense to Papa Lu. Thank you, Crown Prince. Lu Qianqian bowed to Xing Xiao in thanks. Just tell me if you need anything. Thank you. Muchichi's eyes reddened when she saw Lu Qianqian's incessant tears. It was the second time Qianqian had gone through such a huge change. Xing Xiao saw that his little one's eyes were reddening, so he put an arm around her waist and led her out of the morning hall for a breath of fresh air. Soon, Lin Mu arrived at the Lu family's residence. Chi-Chi, Crown Prince. Qianqian is inside, she looks very haggard. Muchichi told Lin Mu. Moreover, Auntie Lu told me in the afternoon that the uncles of the Lu family are eyeing Lu Holdings covetously. There is no man in the Lu family now. I asked you to come back because I hope that you can help Qianqian. Do you really want to be friends for the rest of your lives? At that, Lin moved and took off his coat with the colors on it and threw it on the floor. As long as Qianqian needs me, I will definitely be her support. Lin moved and said without hesitation. On the way back, his heart was in turmoil and he couldn't calm down. His heart ached at the thought that his little Pepper had lost her father, and he could not breathe. Mu Chi-Chi did not say much, and simply let him in to help. After all, Mu Chi-Chi had a feeling that Qianqian would tell Lin Mu and something she might not tell her. Lin Mu nodded and entered the morning hall. His tears almost fell the moment his eyes met Lu Qianqian's. Lu Qianqian walked towards Lin Mu in disbelief. Why are you back? Brat, why didn't you tell me about something so important? Lin Mu said, grabbing her hand. Is it because I'm not free of the Lin family's control that I'm not worthy of your trust? It happened too suddenly, and you're in the middle of a match. I don't want you to ruin your future because of me. *T future. I can still fight for it in the future. With this heart, I don't believe that I will fail no matter what I do. The most important thing now is to send Uncle on his last journey. You and your daughter should rest well. Leave the arrangements and chores to me. Lu Qianqian nodded with reddened eyes. Her tears fell uncontrollably. People say that a friend in need is a friend indeed. I think this is the best test for their relationship. Xiao, there's nothing I can do for Qianqian. Let's send some people over to guard the three of them and prevent others from causing trouble. Is that okay? Xing Xiao nodded. Don't cry anymore. If you go home with red eyes, Mom will ask you again. I can't control myself. I'm also very worried about Qianqian and her mother in the future. Gu Ziling's attitude towards Xingkai had changed a little after learning that he was infertile. She did not know how to face a man who could not even give her a child, just as she did not know where their relationship would go. Xingkai had been preoccupied with anger and sorrow over the last few days, and did not notice Gu Ziling's feelings in time. Although the two of them were lying on the same bed, there was a saying that went like this. They were now a couple who share a bed but dream different dreams. Xing Zhao's dominance had once again cast a dark cloud over the Xing family. Even so, as third brother said, the real pressure on old Xing and Xing Kai was their unwillingness and dissatisfaction, and not Xing Zhao's own pressure. Third brother was still not reinstated. No one cared about his feelings, because he was now a traitor in the eyes of old Xing and Xing Kai. They believed that he must know about Xing Xiao, but did not tell the rest of the Xing family. Third brother was not angry over it either. He packed his things and was ready to leave the Xing family for overseas. But when Xing Xiao left, old Xing swore that no one could be left in the family. So, third brother wanted to leave. Not even a chance. You won't let me leave or do what I want. Tell me, are you imprisoning me? Third brother asked the old man directly. Can't you just let me go like I'm a fart? I'll set you free when you truly care for the Xing family. Third brother finally understood what the old man meant, and promptly smashed his phone. I won't use my phone or contact eighth brother. You'll believe me, won't you? It's not that I won't let you contact eighth brother, but you want me to steal secrets and information from eighth brother, don't you? Third brother laughed coldly. I'm going back to my room. Since when did this family become so deformed? Third brother could not help thinking. Although he really did not want to use that trick, he simply jumped out of the window and left the house in the middle of the night. There were times when he found his grandfather pitiful, but there were also times when he found him insane. There must be something hateful about a pitiful person. With nowhere else to go, third brother could only go to Xing Xiao pitifully. Still, both Xing Xiao and Mu Chi-Chi had yet to return home because of Lu Qianqian. Mama Xing called out to third brother, and when she saw that he was barefooted, she handed him his shoes. You look so haggard coming out. I jumped out of the window, eldest aunt. You don't even have your freedom now. Mama Xing was utterly taken aback. Third brother smiled bitterly but did not answer. He really did not even have the basic dignity of a human. You can sleep in the guest room tonight. Eighth brother and Mu Chi-Chi are at a friend's father's funeral and haven't returned yet. Who? Have you heard of the Liu family? Mu Chi-Chi's best friend's father had a heart attack today and died. Third brother became quiet at that. You don't have to take care of me, eldest aunt. You can sleep with eldest uncle. I'll wait for them in the living room. Third brother seemed to have heard about the little girl from the Liu family. She did not have a good reputation. Still, she was not a bad person if she could be friends with Xiao Qi. Mu Chi-Chi and Xing Xiao stayed outside the Liu family's house until 1 in the morning before leaving. There was no one in the morning hall by then. Mama Liu only had time to thank him when she saw that he was busy. Thank you, Mu Fen. You and Mu Chi-Chi are the only ones who remember us now. Chapter 449. I'm fine. Lu Qianqian said. Then, Auntie, why don't you go and rest first? Then, you can come down and take Qianqian's place. Is that okay? Mama Lu thought about it and decided that it was the only way. After all, she still had her daughter to take care of and could not collapse just like that. So, she listened to Lin Mu and prepared to go back to her room to rest. Since her husband was gone, she could only be a mother. Lu Qianqian helped Lin Mu and up as he knelt on the ground. You've done enough for my father. You don't have to keep kneeling. Lin Mu and only dared to hug Lu Qianqian after Mama Lu left. He did it very gently and without any intention of offending her. I just want to reassure Uncle that I will take care of you and your daughter in his place. You still need someone to take care of you. Lu Qianqian was a little disdainful. Then let's take care of each other and get through all the difficulties together. Is that okay? Lin Mu and asked Lu Qianqian with a smile. I might not be able to get the gold medal back, but I will stay by your side and not let you be helpless. After hearing this, Lu Qianqian burst into tears again. I won't let myself collapse even if it's to protect you and my mother. After hearing her words, Lin Mu sat down and patted his shoulder. Lean on it. It's very reliable. You can sleep for a while. Lu Qianqian leaned on him and closed her eyes. Although she still wanted to cry, she felt a lot better with Lin Mu around. Since they had no one to rely on, they could only rely on each other for warmth. It was already 2 in the morning when Mu Chi-Chi and Lin Sanju reached home. When they entered the living room, they saw third brother watching TV on the sofa and thought that they had come to the wrong house. You're finally back. I'm here to stay. Chased out by the Xing family. Xing Xiao smiled. I jumped off the building and ran away. Third brother shrugged. Because I think everyone in the family is crazy. Second brother is crazy, and so is Grandpa. I can't stand living under your shadow every day. So, I ran away. I can let you stay, but you have to work to pay off the debt. Sure. Be your bodyguard or something. With your skills. It was not that Xing Xiao despised him, but Su Che could beat him to his knees with one hand. However, staying here is not a long-term solution. You have to find your own way out. After all, the old man will not allow you to stay here. I'm going to sleep. That was something third brother knew better than anyone else. Still, he felt sad when he thought about it. Everyone wanted to escape the old man's control, but who else in the large Xing family would have the wisdom and the heart to do so apart from eighth brother? Xing Kai. He himself was trapped in the fog and could not get out. The next morning, Mu Chichi took a detour to visit Lu Qianqian before going to school, and found that Lu Qianqian's complexion was much better with Lin Mu An's help. In the end, she did not make the wrong decision. I've brought you breakfast. Qianqian, if you need any help from me and Xiao Xiao, just let us know. Don't force yourself at this time. Lu Qianqian looked at the bodyguards outside the morning hall and smiled at Mu Chichi. We have received your kindness, Crown Prince. Don't worry, I will not give up. Hurry up and go to class. I will call you if I need anything. In fact, these bodyguards were there to prevent Lu Qianqian's uncles and Grandpa Lin from causing trouble. How could Grandpa Lin bear it when he heard that his grandson was busy in someone else's morning hall? Arranging these bodyguards was just a precautionary measure. Tell me the time of Uncle Lu's burial when you are done. Then, Xiao Xiao and I will send him off for the last time. All right. Lu Qianqian nodded. Go in. After Lu Qianqian went in, Lin Mu and chased after her. Xiao Qi, thank you for telling me about this. Otherwise, I would have regretted it. You don't understand. What kind of feelings do you have for Qianqian? Mu Chichi asked him anxiously. I don't have time to figure it out now. I only know that I can't bear to see her cry. I just want to be by her side and do something for her. Mu Chichi smiled and shook her head. At least you have some manliness. With that, Mu Chichi left. That was when Lin Mu and noticed a white car parked by the roadside. Grandpa Lin rolled down the window and exchanged glances with his grandson. But Lin Mu and pretended not to see it. He simply told the bodyguards, keep a close watch. Don't let anyone cause trouble. Grandpa Lin was certainly not so low as to cause trouble in someone else's morning hall. But Lin Mu and was a grandson of the Lin family. How could he not be angry when he was buried in someone else's morning hall? Since the pillar of the Lu family had fallen and the other forces of the Lu family were stirring, it was more important to take the chance to force Lu Qianqian and her daughter abroad. Drive. Lin Mu and only calmed down when he saw the white car leaving. But he knew that his grandfather would not give up so easily. He would put in some effort somewhere. The Lu family was in a mess now. There were opportunities everywhere. He would be more careful to protect little Pepper and her daughter. Even so, Lu Qianqian was not a toy to be bullied. She would fight back. Moreover, although she had no experience in managing a company, she had been training for a long time to be a successor. Not anyone could knock her down. There were some people who were good when you met them. For example, Mu Chichi met Xing Xiao. And there were some people you had to meet and experience the ups and downs of life together, holding each other's hands tightly. For example, Lu Qianqian met Lin Mu. When Grandpa Lin returned home, he immediately sent someone to contact the uncles of the Lu family to figure out what was at stake. He would lend a hand to the person who was most likely to be in power. But the condition was that that person must cooperate with him and drive Lu Qianqian and her daughter abroad, never to return. However, would his plan really succeed? Early that morning, Grandpa Xing did not notice that someone was missing from his house. He thought that third brother was angry and did not come out for breakfast. But there was no movement for the whole day. It was not right. Then, he had someone pry open the door, only to find that third brother's window was open. But he was not inside. Master, third young master might have run away. Where else could he have gone? Look for Xing Xiao. It was fine that third brother had left on his own. But now he was abducting his other grandson and betraying the family. Chapter 450. It was the first time in half a year that old Xing was so angry that he wanted to go to Xing Zhao's house, because he believed that Xing Zhao had instigated third brother to leave the family. He was aware of Xing Zhao's goal, to have the Xing family wither and have no family. Therefore, he brought along the butler and 4 bodyguards, and went to the courtyard together. The house was heavily guarded because the Xin family had strengthened their sentries. Even so, the sentries could not stop the old man since he was not going to the Xin family this time. All they could do was make a call to someone in the house. Papa Xing was drawing blueprints at home while third brother was causing trouble beside him. They had been chatting happily when Papa Xing suddenly received the call, and turned to third brother. "Your grandfather is here." Third brother's face fell. Papa Xing sighed at that, and said quietly, "I'll have the guard send him away if you don't want to see him. He's really angry that he could come here." The guards could stop him this time, but what about the next time? "It's fine, eldest uncle. I'll go down." "You won't let him eat if you go down." "I'll call your eldest aunt and have the guards let him in. He wouldn't be too cruel to you with us around." Third brother said nothing. In fact, he knew very well that he should leave the country at once. Hiding here would only worsen the conflict between Xing Xiao and the old man. Mama Xing charged straight to the house when she heard that the old man was coming because of third brother. "Where is he?" "He hasn't come in yet." Papa Xing told her. "I told you to come back quickly to see if you could put in a good word for third brother." "What's there to talk about with that pervert?" Mama Xing snorted coldly. What was there to talk about with a man who would abandon his own son to burn down a house? He had no heart at all. Papa Xing dragged her to sit down, while third brother sat on the sofa and clasped his fists. A moment later, old Master Xing arrived downstairs. Papa Xing went downstairs to greet him and led him to the living room. The old man found third brother there, and stood at the door to the living room. "Come here." Papa Xing did a double take, just as Mama Xing stared at third brother, who could only rise from the sofa and walk to the old man. However, before he could say a word, old Master Xing's slap landed on his face. It was a clean and decisive slap. The old man did not hold back at all. Mama Xing was furious when she saw that. "Old thing, do you know that you're hitting your own grandson? I'm teaching my grandson a lesson. It's not up to outsiders to interrupt. You're not used to it. Who told you not to burn us both to death?" Mama Xing walked up to them and pulled third brother behind her. "What? You can't burn your son to death, so you want to beat your grandson to death?" The old man took a deep breath and steadied his walking stick with both hands. "What evidence do you have that I started the fire? There's only a few of you, why are you still pretending to be a big shot?" Mama Xing's heart ached when she saw third brother's red and swollen face. Whose son was not precious? Eighth brother has been mistreated by you. If you're that capable, why don't you go to him and vent your anger on your other grandchildren? Are you admitting how much of a failure you are? Old Xing did not want to say anything else to Mama Xing, nor did he care about those who betrayed his family. He simply looked at third brother and asked, "Are you coming with me?" "Third brother." Mama Xing turned to look at him. Third brother took a deep breath and finally raised his head, answering the old man, "I'm coming with you." "Third brother, you have to stay here. Eldest aunt would definitely protect you. Not even eighth brother could help you if you go back to the Xing family. Eldest aunt, I want to solve my own problems on my own. I don't want to drag others down." Old Xing laughed coldly. Third brother was tactful in the end. "Don't poke your nose into the Xing family's business from now on. You should have some dignity. Don't ride on eighth brother's popularity. Wasn't the slap in the face 2 days ago painful enough?" Mama Xing was not to be outdone. Old Xing gestured for third brother to leave first, before turning to his son. I really didn't expect that you would have some value alive. Of course I wouldn't have any value staying in a wretched place like the Xing family. Look at fourth brother, eighth brother, and now look at me and my wife, it's the best proof. Mama Xing crossed her arms and argued with old Xing. Of course, a man could never win against a woman in a battle of words. That was why old Xing could only bring third brother away. Still, it was impossible to humiliate Papa Xing and Mama Xing. Third brother walked in front while the old man followed behind. Once he got into the car, the two men pinned him inside. I'll let you know the consequences of running away. Third brother said nothing. In that very moment, he felt like a criminal, even worse than the obedient machines in the Xing family. After they left, Mama Xing immediately called Xing Xiao. Your third brother was picked up by Grandpa Xing himself. He slapped you three in front of us. I'm afraid it will only get worse when he goes back. That's right, Grandpa Xing. What can we do if he wants to leave? Xing Xiao had already guessed that the old man would have a hard time bringing third brother out of the house if he was unwilling. There's no telling what he's thinking. You should help him think of something. The old man is becoming more and more perverted by the day. Xing Xiao hung up and tapped the table with his fingers. Third brother would probably suffer a lot when he got home. Still, no one could help him if he was not determined to leave the Xing family. Third brother would certainly have his reservations. He did not have Xing Xiao's wisdom and could not let his parents enjoy their old age. Moreover, whenever he remembered that Papa Xing was almost burned to death for rebelling against the old man, he felt that he could not take the risk. If there was one way to save him now, it was marriage. Perhaps becoming a live-in son-in-law was not a bad idea. After third brother was escorted back to the Xing family, he was locked in his room, and the windows of his room were completely sealed. It's time to arrange a marriage for you. Otherwise, you would never know where your heart should be used. Stay in your room for the next few days and reflect on yourself. Xing Kai heard that third brother was locked in his room when he got home. He found it unbelievable that the old man would do something so extreme, and so went to third brother's room. Chapter 451. He doesn't let me work, doesn't let me go out, suspects me, and even wants to use me to steal eighth brother's secrets. Second brother, you're really lucky. I'm just a prisoner to that old man. Did you really not contact eighth brother? What kind of person is eighth brother? What do I have that eighth brother can use? Third brother defended himself. Then I'll go to grandfather and plead for you. No need. I just have to lie here and wait for my wedding. Third brother could not help giving up on himself, because he had to plan for his parents. Grandfather's change started when eighth brother left the Xing family. Don't you hate him? Xing Kai asked third brother. Grandpa didn't start because someone left. His desire to control has always been strong. It's just that there are people in the family who are willing to be controlled, and there are people who aren't. Don't tell me that everyone wants to become his puppet. Second brother, eighth brother has nothing to do to you. It's just that you can't overcome the barrier in your heart. Xing Xiao laughed helplessly, and left third brother's room. Was he not willing to hate eighth brother even in such a situation? He was not that magnanimous. I've gone to see third brother. How is he? Gu Xiling asked after Xing Kai returned to his room and helped him take off his coat. I've never seen grandfather so angry. Everyone in the Xing family is grandfather's pawn. Only by being obedient can you live a peaceful life. It's the same for you. Now, the old man would not be afraid of her just because she was a member of the Gu family. Gu Xiling sighed and replied to her husband, I think Grandpa was forced to do what he did today. I can understand him. On the other hand, Xingkai could not bear a child. If the old man knew about it, there was no telling if he would take back his position as the CEO of Huangyao. Xingkai was well aware of that. That was why he was actively seeking treatment and taking medicine. But no one knew about it. As for third brother, he lay on his bed, thinking about what his future wife would be like. Please don't be like Gu Xiling. Dinner at the Xing residence. Xingkai took the opportunity to get information from Grandpa Xing on behalf of third brother. Grandpa, have you found a marriage partner for third brother? There are no outstanding girls in Jianchuan now. Xiling has already married into our family, and the others who are of a suitable age already have a partner. In other words, there is no suitable candidate. I can consider the daughter of the Hu clan. Xingkai was stunned when he heard the Hu family. Is it the Hu family, the real estate tycoon? That's right. But I heard that his daughter has some problems with her brain. Old Xing glared at Xingkai. You're short-sighted. There's nothing wrong with that child's brain. He's just naive. There's nothing wrong with him being a good match for third brother. Xingkai didn't say anything. He and Gu Xiling exchanged looks. They had never imagined that even though Grandpa Xing was angry, he should not have pushed third brother into such a pit of fire. In fact, the old master's thinking was very simple. The Hu family only had one daughter. As long as the third son married Miss Hu, the Hu family's assets would belong to the third son sooner or later. What was wrong with that? He had worked so hard for the sake of his children, and yet he was despised. In fact, he would not admit that he was punishing third brother for challenging his absolute control. Moreover, there was another reason. He knew that third brother was very responsible. As long as he married the young lady of the Hu family, he would definitely stay with the Xing family to the death, and would not be tempted by Xing Shao again. I really didn't expect grandfather to be so ruthless. Xingkai waited until he returned to his room to discuss the matter with Gu Xiling. Actually, the young lady of the Hu family isn't born stupid. She had a car accident 2 years ago and her brain was damaged. She hasn't recovered even now. Even so, third brother wouldn't want a young lady of the Hu family with his qualities. Gu Xiling shook her head emotionally. That's not something we can decide. It's up to third brother. What was there to ask? Who would want to marry a fool? The old master's move was truly ruthless. Outsiders would think that he was a compassionate person who didn't care about the handicap of others, and that he would please the Hu family. Why would he care about the fate of his own people? It was the second night after Lu Qianqian lost her father. After class, Mu Qiqi and Xing Shao went to the Lu family's house again to visit Lu Qianqian and her mother. Although Lu Qianqian was very haggard, she was not distracted because Lin Mu and was there to support her. Don't you have classes at the police academy? Mu Qiqi asked Lin Mu Hen, who was bustling about. I can switch with you if you can't come every day. Mother and daughter still need a man to support them. It's a sense of security that women can't give. Lin Mu Hen answered Mu Qiqi, looking at Lu Qianqian. It's fine. The competition was originally planned to last 4 days, but I'm giving up and applying for leave from the academy. I can only be at ease when my little pepper gets through her toughest time. The toughest time Lin Mu Hen was referring to was when Papa Lu was cremated and buried. Mu Qiqi nodded and sighed. Qianqian's life is really rough. It's the same for everyone. You can be happy now because you suffered as a child, which is why life is fair. Look at how my little pepper is now. She must have had too much when she was young and didn't know how to cherish it, which is why the heavens are punishing her. Stay by her side. Thank you for the bodyguards, Crown Prince. They are the greatest help we could get. He remembered old Lin's visit yesterday. At least, he did not have to be afraid with these helpers. But I think, the uncles of the Lu family would not be able to hold back. What do you plan to do? What can I do? I'm an outsider. Lin Mu and smiled bitterly. Lu Holdings is my little Pepper's safeguard. I'm afraid someone would want to take it over, and if my grandfather were to help them now, I don't even dare to imagine the consequences. Regarding this, Xiao Xiao will get someone to collect information in time. This is probably the only thing we can do for Qian Qian. It's late. Go in and keep her company. Mu Qiqi said, and went to Xing Zhao's side. Lin Mu and waved them off, but found Lu Qianqian asleep on the sofa with her father's photo when he entered the house. Unable to bear it, Lin moved and carried Lu Qianqian to her room and put her on the bed. Lu Qianqian's face was still streaked with tears. Chapter 452. Lu Qianqian held Lin Mu's hand and slept soundly. But once he let go, Lu Qianqian would panic like a piece of driftwood in the sea. Helpless, Lin Mu sat by the bed and accompanied Lu Qianqian for the whole night. The next morning, Lin Mu walked out of Lu Qianqian's room and was caught by Mama Lu. Mama Lu looked a little surprised. You were in Qianqian's room last night. You. Auntie, you misunderstood. Qianqian cried the moment she fell asleep. That's why I accompanied her. Mama Lu was relieved because she believed in Lin Mu. The dark circles around the child's eyes were clearly caused by staying up late. This child loved Qianqian from the bottom of his heart. Then go and rest. All right, but Auntie, has the time for Uncle's cremation been decided? Mama Lu's eyes reddened as she replied, choking, it's the day after tomorrow. He's already gone, so there's no point in showing off anymore. It's not like he can see any of this. Uncle is in heaven. You will definitely bless you and your daughter. Mama Lu forced a smile and was about to reply when her phone rang. It was Papa Lu's phone. Mama Lu hung up without a second thought, but Lin moved and could not help reminding her, Auntie, there are some things that an outsider like me shouldn't say. That said, you and Qianqian are now a widow and a daughter without anyone to rely on. If anyone from Lu Holdings approaches you to discuss contracts or sign anything, you must be careful not to be tricked. It's Qianqian's youngest uncle. Big brother has just passed away, but he's been thinking about electing an acting chairman. In fact, Mama Lu knew very well in her heart. But what can I do? I don't know how to run a business. Qianqian is still young. Someone has to carry the burden of Lu Enterprises. Believe me, when Qianqian comes out of her grief, she will be able to stand on her own. Mama Lu wanted to compromise and give up the management rights so that Qianqian would not be persecuted by her uncles. If Qianqian insisted on inheriting her father's will, her future would be very bumpy, and she did not want her daughter to carry such a heavy burden. As parents, who didn't plan for their children? But how could things be so simple? If they handed over the management rights, they would definitely be driven out of the country. Meanwhile, Mu Qiqi received news from the professor that there had been significant progress in the case of the last red-dressed female corpse. The neighbor of the murdered girl was a major suspect. She was a 25-year-old married woman called Xin Yun. Because her husband thought that she was not beautiful enough, he would always compare her with the little neighbor next door. This woman had wanted to kill the girl a long time ago. The last time she made up her mind was because she saw the murder of the woman in red in the mountains. That was why she wanted to imitate it. She was very smart. It could be seen from the fact that it was a copycat crime. That night at dinner, the girl's house received wave after wave of customers because she was doing business. As long as they were familiar with the town, they would come to her house for a meal or a drink. Tsin-yun also came to buy things and added something to the girl's water. When she came to shop, she told her acquaintances that she was going to pick up her son from school. Therefore, combining the time of the girl's death, Tsin-yun seemed to have a perfect alibi. In fact, Tsin-yun did not go out at all. After she saw the girl fall to the ground, she disguised herself and entered the girl's shop. After hiding the girl's corpse, she changed into the girl's clothes and closed the shop, making everyone believe that the girl had closed the door herself. Red clothes were a taboo for everyone in town. That was why she took out the red clothes for the girl to wear. Everyone was in a hurry on a rainy day. She left through the back door, carrying the girl's corpse on her back. Both she and the corpse were wearing large raincoats and men's shoes. Those who did not know would have thought that it was a man carrying his wife home. Since it was raining and no one paid attention, the woman went up the mountain alone and dumped the corpse. Concentrated sulfuric acid was a necessity. When the police saw it, it was dripping from the cave entrance, but it was actually a metal bottle embedded in the stone wall. It was hung upside down from the top of the mountain, and the bottle could be inserted into the cave entrance. Concentrated sulfuric acid did not corrode metal that badly because it would passivate it. That was why the acid dripped directly onto the girl's face. Moreover, the cave entrance was littered with rubble. There was not a single complete footprint after the heavy rain washed it away. This level of crime was very serious for Tsin-yun, who had only attended university for a few days. She was calm when the police questioned her. They also asked her son if his mother had brought him home that day. He quickly answered that it was his mother who brought him home every day. Yes, she did. But when did she do it? The smart woman did not even leave any fingerprints. If the police hadn't coincidentally overheard Tsin-yun's husband asking if she had worn his shoes, the police wouldn't have suspected this woman. She did not panic at all when a girl in the prime of her life died in her hands. Even when she was arrested, she simply asked, "So many people died in this town. Why me alone? I did nothing wrong. What right do you have to arrest me?" That was the last case of the woman in red, but it had nothing to do with the previous two. Mu-Chi-Chi felt many emotions after hearing about it, which was why she told Xing Xiao, "Although I didn't solve those cases, I could imagine that the girl who died tragically could now rest in peace." When I see this, I sometimes think that what old Xing did is nothing compared to taking the lives of others. No wonder the professor told me that the living are scarier than the dead. At those words, Xing Xiao pulled the little one to him and held her in his arms. It's precisely because I came into contact with such things that I have to cherish the people around me. So, you still want to go to that wretched place? Xing Xiao narrowed his eyes at the little one. Mu-Chi-Chi shook her head. When she remembered how Lu Qianqian and third brother were now, she decided not to go anywhere. "I don't have enough experience. That's why I have to focus on my studies. Moreover, Qianqian is so upset and third brother is locked up at home. I want to help them even more," Mu-Chi-Chi said, hooking her arms around Xing Xiao's neck. "The Lin family has already contacted youngest uncle of the Lu family." "What do you mean?" Mu-Chi-Chi asked, pushing herself up. Chapter 453. If that's the case, I believe that Qianqian and Lin Mu and would be able to solve it easily. Where does your confidence come from? Xing Xiao shook his head speechlessly. Can't you see? Lin Mu and is so determined towards Qianqian. As long as Lin Mu and is by her side, she would not lose her motivation. Put away your naive thoughts and do something practical for them. Xing Xiao slapped Mu-Chi-Chi on the head. Such as, if Lu Qianqian can't handle things on her own, no one can help her. She and her mother would have to give way, but we could increase her bargaining power when they talk about the deal. You are Mayor Shin's niece and the wife of Enchanting's CEO. Not many people would dare to mess with you now. Promise me something or cause trouble, and I will deal with it for you. You're trying to teach me to do bad things again. Am I right? Mu Chi-Chi couldn't help rolling her eyes. This man was always instigating others to do bad things. Are you going to do it or not? Of course. As soon as she said that, Xing Xiao picked her up and walked to the bedroom. What are you doing? Mu Chi-Chi cried out. I'm doing what you said. Mu Chi-Chi was speechless. Third brother had been locked up in a dark room for days. Even his meals were given to him by the butler. Third brother did not even step out of his room. He didn't really care now. He just wanted to know who he was going to marry. But strangely, old Xing lifted the lock on third brother and allowed him to have dinner in the dining room. Third brother did not ask why. He only knew that he was very hungry and wanted to fill his stomach as soon as possible. He didn't need to know whose guests were there today. Xing Kai looked at third brother worriedly. Third brother assumed that he was being locked up to attract their sympathy. He would never know that his father-in-law had come to meet his son-in-law. After dinner, when Chief Hu left, Xing Kai told third brother the truth. Do you remember the people who had dinner with you tonight? I didn't. What does it have to do with me? The man with the golden glasses is a real estate tycoon. His daughter is 24 years old. Understood. Why didn't he bring his daughter? Is it because I'm too ugly, or is it something else? Third brother knew very well that he was engaged. This president whose daughter had her head damaged 2 years ago. Now, she only has the intelligence of an 11-year-old. Third brother didn't know whether to laugh or cry at that. It turns out that I don't even deserve a normal woman. Third bro, Xing Kai looked worriedly at third brother, but did not know how to comfort him. Grandfather had really gone overboard this time, but who in the Xing family would dare to say anything? I'll marry him. Shouldn't I be thanking the gods as long as I don't lose my limbs? Third brother laughed, though there were tears in his eyes. Although Xing Kai could not bear it, he advised third brother, you can still find the girl you like after you get married. As long as it doesn't involve divorce, the old man won't ask. Since I'm married, I will fulfill my duty as a husband. Whether she's deaf or mute, I will take care of her until the end since she's my wife. With that, third brother returned to his room. It turned out that the price of a full meal was so high. Meanwhile, the Hu family was very satisfied with third brother. After returning home, President Hu kept praising third brother to his current wife and daughter, saying that he was handsome and talented. Xiao Ran would definitely not be mistreated if she marries him. Don't you think so, Xiao Ran? Hu Ran was sitting on the floor, playing with her princess doll. Although she was 24 years old, she really had the intelligence of an 11 or 12-year-old, and completely did not understand what her father and stepmother were talking about. Sigh. You only know how to smile. I just hope that third young master won't bully Xiao Ran. That way, I won't disappoint her mother's spirit in heaven. Oh, you're thinking too much. Look at the young lady of the Gu family marrying him. She's living a happy and peaceful life. Isn't that great? Hu Ran's stepmother consoled her husband. The problem is that your daughter is a fool. Papa Hu said nothing else. It was obvious that he was very satisfied with the marriage. As for Hu Ran's stepmother, although she felt that Hu Ran was lucky, the Xing family was a ruthless place. How could Hu Ran live a good life if she married them? Late at night, Hu Ran was sent back to her room by a servant and coaxed to sleep. It was only after the servant left that Hu Ran opened her eyes again. But her eyes were definitely not as innocent as they were in the living room just now. She promptly got up and went to the computer to search for information about third brother. She was quite satisfied with his appearance when she saw his picture on the computer. This was the husband she was about to marry. If third brother dared to bully her, she would play dumb forever so that he would never be able to lift his head again. On the other hand, if third brother was a good person, she would tell her husband that she was not really stupid, and that she had to pretend to be like this to protect herself. After all, her stepmother was the one who plotted the car accident 2 years ago. If she did not play dumb, she would not have lived until now. As a matter of fact, third brother's situation was not much different from hers. Who knew? What if it was a marriage that sounded ridiculous to the outside world turned out to be a match made in heaven? Now, the two families were just short of making it public. After confirming the time for Papa Lou's cremation, the other members of the Lou family arrived at Lou Mansion, intending to discuss with Mama Lou about the arrangements for Lou Holdings. Mama Lou did not want Lou Qianqian to get involved in adult matters, and so had Lin Mu and accompany her upstairs to rest. Papa Lou had passed away without leaving a will. In other words, Mama Lou was now the biggest shareholder of Lou Holdings. The other members of the Lou family thought that she did not know how to run a company, and so suggested to find a client and elect an acting chairman. Mama Lou sat on the sofa and listened for a long time. Eventually, she said flatly, "My husband is still in the funeral parlor. He has not been buried, and I am not in the mood to talk about such things. Your brother is not in peace, and you don't have to rush to fight for power. Lou Holdings is here and not going anywhere. Eldest sister-in-law, we are just worried about Lou Holdings operations. Eldest brother's matter needs to be attended to, and the company needs to continue running. You are drowning in grief, and Qianqian is still young and naive. We hope that there is someone in this family who can share your burdens." How is this sharing? They are clearly here to force my mommy. Every single one of them is a respectable person. My father has just passed away, and they are already trying to get a piece of the pie. They are worse than animals. Lin Mu and held Lu Qianqian back and advised her, "They are not doing this for their own benefit. They want to protect you and your mother." Blah. Who would protect me when I'm perfectly fine? You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.